Welcome to Angry Old Dudes Podcast, Episode 3. I'm Brandon.
I'm Hugh.
We have a special guest here, Kody Hale. Say hi, Kody.
Hello.
I thought you were going to say hi, Kody. All right. So, moving quickly, because we have a guest and many things to talk about, we will...
So much shit to talk about.
We will go through our calendar. Lead us off.
Oh, I'm leading us off?
Sure.
I don't know. The Puddle of Mud is on July 10th. I didn't want to talk about it. I guess we're going to drop it. It's at the Thompson House July 10th. Then July 11th, also at the Thompson House, is I Prevail, Danger Kids, and other bands that also don't matter.
Also on that night at the 86 Club is Speak Up Saturday, hosted by A Voice for the Innocent.
The following Monday, if you can traverse through traffic, and the Home Run Derby will be Ringworm, Suicide Pact, Volt Hunter, and Abraxas.
Are you reading from a script? Did you write that down?
No.
You just riffing?
Yeah,
feels good? All right.
Freestyling, man.
Freestyle. Yeah, whatever freestyle means. That is $10. The show is an early show. It starts at 7:15 at the Side Central. What's after that, Brandon?
7:17. It's a house show in Trenton, Ohio. That's All My Friends Are Dead, The Color of Amber, 7 Years Dead, Hearts Like Shadows, Monarch, and 2 Seconds Too Late. I believe that is a free show.
That is free, but also 7:17 at the Norwood Great Dane House is Homewrecker, Ghost Psalm, and Bonehead. I believe that show's $6, but any amount for donational purposes to get Homewrecker to their next location would be greatly appreciated.
As usual, don't be a dick.
Next is our double show, July 19th. Early, Old Wounds, Push Off, and Juggernaut at Side Central. And late, Throat Culture, Husk and Skull, Until We Are Ghosts, Bolt Cutter at Tacocracy.
You can make it to both shows if you are smart.
And both shows together will be under $10.
Yes. Let's see. July 30th, that's Dustin Kenstro of Thrice at the Southgate House Revival with other bands who I keep forgetting, honestly. But it's Dustin, and he's awesome, so go to that. Backtrack one here. 724 Bleak. Tell me about that.
Bleak is at Tacocracy. We talked about them last week, and will continue to be one of the bands that I listen to every week. It's very, very heavy. Think Neurosis, Nails, Machine Head-esque, Converge. Also backtracking, not that it needs any promotion at all. July 16th is Warped Tour. I finally actually sat down and looked at the bands. There are 3 that I would care to see.
Yeah.
And that's giving MC Lars a lot of extra credit. So that's one of those 3.
So like 2.5. 2.5 bands.
2.5 bands.
August 1st, we have at the Underground In Days Forgotten Dead Set, Seeing Ghosts, who I believe just dropped a single today, or midnight early today, basically. Glass World and Friday Giants.
August 1st, also at Bogarts, is Coal Chamber, Fear Factory, and Josta. And as I have been invited to right now, from He Who Shall Not Be Named, is doing a Battle of the Bands at the Mad Frog. So if you want some place to take a bomb and blow up something,
Terrible venue and an asshole who's buying it out for the night.
do that. Not that anybody should care. What?
Why is every show he does a battle of the fucking bands?
Because he can make the most money.
So,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
tickets and you'll win.
I'm sure ticket prices for that show's again
10, 15, yeah.
For a fucking local battle.
At the Mad Frog. It's a shithole.
God damn it.
August 5th, the All Stars Tour comes with Upon a Burning Body, Brandon's favorite band, Come the Dawn. I'm pretty sure Ocean Grid will be jumping on that show and the following 9 days following that.
Day Shell and a bunch of other Iris the Bigger ones, all kinds of bands that I do not care about.
Not that it's too local, but August 6th, Shaggy Loot is playing in Indianapolis, and I will be going to that.
Dope. August 7th, we have Grim State at the Backstage. I don't have any more details. Do you?
It's one of their tour stops, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's their second to last day of tour. I'm trying to pull up this flyer. It says, also playing Amphad, Bless the Child, Under the Combine, The Earth Laid Bare, and Monarch. So it's good to see the Earth Laid Bare back on the side of Angels.
I can't believe I haven't seen Monarch yet.
I don't think they played more than like 2 shows.
Yeah. I really like that single they dropped.
They're on that house show.
I tried to sneak away from the baby for that.
August 8th, we won't bring up right now because it's probably one of the things that we'll be talking about long. But we will say briefly that it is Kody's last show with Hail to the King / Denihilist.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
I don't know how to not be a dick.
Denihilist, Eternal Void, AKO Vendetta, who used to be Ascension. I want to say, is it Dead Set is on that show?
No, it's Hunter's Chase.
Hunter's Chase.
And
Juggernaut,
Plagues.
We Are Ronin, there's no
Me.
AKO Vendetta on
Am I getting all my shows mixed up?
there. Yeah.
I've done like 4 flyers for Isaac in the last week. So that's probably
August 12th is The Devil You Know, Howard Jones' new band.
Let's see, August 26th we have 7 Seconds, which Q was super excited about. I'm surprised you didn't jump on that
I'm
again.
still super excited about it. I was scrolling down through my calendar and didn't get that there that quick.
For those of you who don't know, Q gets a raging boner for songs that are under 20 seconds, and a band that names themselves 7 Seconds just is like ejaculatory. You can't handle it.
That is an absolutely true statement.
Yeah.
I just had something pop up, and I didn't know this band was still a band. But
Speaking of
Global August 21st at the Thompson House.
I did see that, but I don't know who they are.
I always thought they were local, then I found out they're not local, and they're the best definition of what would happen if half the band listened to new metal and the other half listened to Asking Alexandria.
See, I thought they were like an electronic thing. Maybe, I don't know.
If you want to talk about electronic being backing tracks.
So are we talking like Fred Durst on Warped Tour?
Not that kind of new metal.
Okay.
I actually feel like I met you at a Boba Flex show at the Attic, so I don't know why you're acting like you don't know who they are.
I'm just being a dick, man.
Anyways, August 27th is the Life After Death Tour. Terror of Bane, Turnstile, Backtrack, Forced Order, Heavy Chains at Legends. That show's $25.
It will sell out.
It will
Buy
sell
your
out.
tickets now.
Go to Shake It. I think Shake It's the only place you can get that. I guess we'll promote it this time. September 12th is the Butcher Babies. I don't know the Butcher Babies. I don't care. Not to sound any more like a dick than I already do.
I don't care about the Butcher Babies either.
September 18th, for all you non-music listeners, is the 2015 Cincinnati Comic Expo. It is also the day before Q-Palooza. Q-Palooza, September 19th. We're still working on a venue. It'll be somewhere in Cincinnati. And the show will be $5.
Do you have a Knocked Loose headline then?
If Cross Me cannot play, which they're not sure if they will be on tour or not. If they're not on tour, then they will headline.
Okay. Because Knocked Loose is blown up. I'm pretty sure that you're going to have a humongous crowd.
Knocked Loose is awesome. And if anything else, not something that bands usually talk about, especially on a podcast or anything like that. But I was literally talking to them, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get you guys $50 for this show. And they were just like, we'll take $10. I don't need
Those
$50.
guys are so fucking cool.
Yeah, and they definitely stepped up, and they're doing some big things. They have a tour. They'll get home from the tour a week before Q-Palooza, but they're going out with Orthodox, Purgatory, and Another Mistake.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of them prior to Q-Palooza, and I just thought, these guys are from out of town. I don't know them very well. Who knows what they're going to sound like? And I mean, it wasn't exactly my style, but they absolutely killed it. So it's good to see them doing stuff.
And I think Q-Palooza is as far as we're going to go.
Yeah. So
Brandon's really stoked for the Deer Hunter October 11th.
Yes, I am.
You should be.
Q doesn't like the Deer Hunter. Says it's boring.
He doesn't like bands that can actually play their instruments.
That's
Right.
not true. I like plenty of bands that can actually play their
Coheed and Cambria.
Okay, I talk shit about.
Yeah, you're a fuckboy. That's all it boils down to.
I talk shit to Brandon because he thinks they're the best band ever.
I don't think
they are.
They are not.
They are okay. They're definitely like top 10 in the history of the earth. Anyway, shithead, how was your day?
How was my day?
How was your day?
It was fine. Me and Brandon and Michaela entered our team, Q and the Tips, into a comic book trivia.
You can't put your feet on the mic stand, or it'll make noises that I have to cut out later. You're gonna make a mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. So we did this comic book trivia, and we thought we pretty much bombed. We ended up giving it 27 out of 40, which the guy that was running it actually told us that was pretty middle of the road, pretty good. It was a pretty good score.
Here was the problem with that. They asked like comic book TV show questions, and neither one of us had cable or watched television. So
Yeah, the TV rots the mind.
it was bullshit. They're like, well, on the TV show Flash, I'm like, well, we don't give a fuck. It's completely useless. So,
But it was still fun. I mean, we didn't win anything, and we had to leave, so we could get back into the podcast, which is also fun. So, all in all, it's a pretty fun day. Yeah, I don't know. I did laundry. It was a boring, fun day. I'll go home and go to sleep and probably jerk off.
lovely. I was work mostly, and work is work. Just buried under a bunch of work, and
Still no
nothing's
end in
changed.
sight.
No, it's look. It just we got in like 1,000 fucking computers, and it's like the most broken they've ever been.
Is that a true or an exaggeration?
No. It seriously was 2 separate orders of like 700 apiece, and like I like to be busy, but I don't like to be buried. And we still don't have any new people. And that one kid is on his backpacking trip, and the other guy came in today, like he's like deaf in one ear or some shit. Like we're operating like on shitty numbers. So I don't know, just busy, like being busy at work.
Cody, how was your day?
Well, I mean, the office job is okay. I'm getting moved to a different program where I can make commission on top of my hourly, which is tight, except the training is extremely boring. The place that I work, they have this habit of making supervisors because they were supervisors on a different program, but then a new program comes in, and instead of taking people who actually have experience, they just take that supervisor and put them there in place. So you're being taught something by someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. So there's that. Then I went to Papa John's for the second job, and for the love of fucking God, if you order pizza online and you live in a secured building where someone has to call you to get the pizza to your room, put the right goddamn phone number on the order. I wasted like an hour for a $2 tip. A $2 fucking tip.
Not worth it.
No, not at all. Like I came back. I finally came back after banging on their door and doing all sorts of shit. My boss is like waving at me. I walk in. He's just like, "Yeah, they called back. Here's the right number." They said that they didn't hear you, and I'm just like, I really don't want to take this because I might throw this pizza at them. And they're like, he's like, "Well, you have to." But I mean, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's fucking pizza delivery. It's easy. It's like I'm not even working, but I'm doing something second. So, but that was my day.
I do love delivering pizza. Me and Cody actually work at the same pizza place. He usually works nights. I usually work days. And I actually get to listen to everybody else's podcasts while I'm driving around all day. And I don't know. It's a job that I definitely enjoy.
I think I'm on my 20th time listening to Team 4 Stars Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
I don't know what that is.
It's the funniest shit ever.
The redubbed Dragon Ball Z, only with stupid shit.
It's not even stupid. It's actually better written than the
Is it
original
a
Dragon
podcast
Ball
or
Z.
is it on YouTube? 'Cause if it's on YouTube,
It's on
I think
YouTube.
I've seen it.
It's on YouTube. Just start it from the beginning and just watch, and it's damn.
Oh, I thought they were also starting a new Dragon Ball.
Yes,
I've
they
heard
are.
that.
They are.
There's a new movie or something.
Yeah, the new movie's gonna be tight. I've read the manga already on it, and it was pretty cool. What happened was they had that Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball GT. Dragon Ball GT was done by a different person, And the original guy who made it, Akira Toriyama, he's just like, this is bullshit. This sucks. Which, I mean, if any Dragon Ball Z out there, any Dragon Ball Z fan out there would can attest to, GT is terrible.
Yeah.
And so that's all considered non-canon now. They've kind of pulled a Disney, and they're doing a new Dragon Ball Z anime, which is fantastic because I grew up on Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Now I've got my son, and he gets to enjoy Dragon Ball. And that's so fucking cool to me.
Yeah, I didn't keep up as well. I didn't watch much of GT at all.
I got through like maybe 3 episodes, and they made Goku a kid again. I'm just like, you can't have Goku as a kid and it not be funny. Like, it wasn't as funny as Dragon Ball.
And I didn't see Battle of the Gods either.
Battle of the Gods is actually it's very cool because it's a return to like the Dragon Ball formula. Like, it has lots of comedy in it, but at the same time, it's got that over the top action that Dragon Ball Z has. And it was just really cool seeing, like, especially at the beginning, like seeing Goku getting his ass handed to him, and like you really don't know what's like how he's gonna overcome it. But I mean, of course, it's fucking Goku, so he's gonna overcome it.
Yeah. And
it just opens up this whole new world of things. Like, obviously, power levels they've been trying to say that power levels are bullshit for a while, and they're really kind of driving that home now that if your strength isn't a number, it's kind of like your heart and how much effort you put into it.
Which is why Vegeta, as tough as he is, never really wins.
Well, I mean, there's actually a scene that a lot of Dragon Ball fans are into in Battle of the Gods, where Vegeta, who's not even close to where Goku is at, actually kicks Beerus, who's the main character, the main antagonist in that movie, kicks his ass for maybe a solid 30 seconds. And any Vegeta fan out there was just like blowing loads everywhere at this.
It's dubbed though, right? They made a dub?
Yeah, it's dubbed.
I didn't get that.
Dragon Ball, like the whole series, is a series I cannot watch subbed. I can't watch it subbed because I don't like the voice actors. Because I grew up with the anime dubbed.
Yeah.
And Goku sounds like Goku to me. Like, I can't watch anything else. But any other anime, like Attack on Titan, like I have to watch it subbed because the actors are so much better.
I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
Well, I don't know anything about comics, so I mean, now you know how I feel.
It's not true.
I know very little about comics.
Okay, you know very little, but you do still know stuff.
Still get a young Padawan learner. Okay, we've been talking about Dragon Ball for 5 minutes.
What's everybody listening to? Kody, what are you listening to?
God. I discovered that Cincinnati has a throwback R&B and hip-hop radio station.
Owned by WABN, if you can believe that.
I don't give a fuck because the entire, every single song they play is just incredible.
I actually listen to it a bit, too.
Yeah, and, I don't get, I commute from Dayton to Cincinnati for my job, and I don't get the station until, I'm, 99% of the way here. And then, the rest of the day, if I'm delivering pizza, that's all I'm listening to. Just jamming.
I don't have a radio in my car, so I don't have that option.
Your life is so ghetto. How long did it take you to get a stove?
I think 6 years.
Shit, dude.
I still don't know how to use it.
Not surprised.
Microwave it up, bro.
Yeah, you're the kind of guy who buys the ramen, macaroni, and cheese, though. Can you get lower on the mac and cheese ladder than ramen?
I mean...
Can you get lower than ramen?
Be dead.
Yeah, probably.
So what do you
can
listen
just
to?
get regular plain rice. That's lower than ramen.
Yeah.
But at least that's good for you.
Not really, because...
It's not bad for you.
It's not good, because all you do is look at Asians, and they're like, ooh, rice, ooh, rice, ooh, rice. And then they hit 26, and they're all fat and ugly.
That's actually Mexicans. And
You're a colossal piece of shit.
You are. But really, Mexicans, it's mainly with the women. As soon as they pop out a child, it's just they turn into this just crazy ass bruja.
I seriously don't
Baby
feel
factory.
like every Asian female that I've ever seen at 19 to 24, they're gorgeous, and then they hit 26, and all of a sudden they look like that lady at the beginning of Happy Gilmore.
But then you see other Asian women that are probably well into their 50s that look incredible.
I haven't seen that. You need to show me pictures.
I'll show you pictures later, but it exists. I think that's isolated to Japan. I sound like such a fucking weeaboo. I think I spent most of this time talking about Japanese shit.
Why didn't Denihilist ever tour Japan?
If Nick Wimpy hears it, he's going to come everywhere.
I love you, Nick Wimpy. He sold me the entire Spyro series for $15 and Soul Reaver.
That's what's up.
So I guess It's what I've listened. Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin it.
I don't know what the hell I was gonna say. It comes out, and then I'm just like, oh, escaping words. Like, there's no thought behind it.
Really? I just think you don't have a filter sometimes. It's not that you don't.
What are you listening to, Q?
Stay on track.
I mean, I was trying to, but then I got off track.
Like, you did great through the calendar, and now we're here at what were you listening to? And that's going to take up like 40 minutes again.
I'm actually listening to a band off track. I was trying to actually make that comparison.
That's so funny.
I'm still jamming So Many Ways from last week.
Which I need to find a bunch of music for.
We actually listened to that new Wonder Year song after the podcast last week, and
we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, so
it's got to be new releases, and I got shit to say. So.
Yeah, because Brandon wrote a blog about it.
I actually did. Yeah, I did. I did cover that one. That's right.
Brandon, you're straight into. Why can't you remember that?
Yeah, shut up.
What else have I been listening to? I went up to Indianapolis last night to watch Strength and What Remains. Their new record is phenomenal. It definitely made me feel like I was 19 again in 2002. Sounds straight up like One King Down, Norma Jean, and Marguerite D.
1962.
Anyways, I knew this was going to be just ripping the cue the whole time.
Keep talking.
So Strength and What Remains. I also got to see my friends in Newhart. They did a Sweet Champion cover, and Newhart's just a great, almost youth crew, but not quite youth crew hardcore band. They had just signed a Blood and Ink about 6 months ago. They're about to put out a new Blood and Ink record. I don't know. I've been listening to, I don't even want to admit it, but for some reason it's been stuck in my head. I've had a couple In This Moment songs stuck in my head.
That might be embarrassing if I knew who that was.
They try to be Kill Switch with a female lead that sounds worse than Kitty 10 years ago.
Awkward.
Yeah. I'll make you listen to it later and you'll shoot me in the face for it. What are you listening to? B. Mertz?
Oh, God damn it. You ever call me that again? I went flipping through Spotify's new releases this morning because I couldn't really pick. And I stumbled on the new Refused record, which I'm not ready to talk about because, like the last Refused record that came out in '98, it took me a solid 5 years to really get it. So I'm going to give this one at least a couple weeks. But I listened to that a bunch. And then, like, the Foo Fighters discography from, like, One by One on.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't figure out what to listen to, so I was just like, rock and roll music that doesn't bother me.
Foo Fighters is like, it's like that mid-90s sitcom on Netflix. Like, you don't really watch it, but you want something to come on. Like,
Yeah.
you appreciate it because it's done well. There's some parts that you're just like, hell yeah. And it's fucking Dave Grohl.
Yeah. And after that, what the hell was I listening to? Kings of Leon. Because I was searching the related artists on the Foo Fighters, and this pissed me right off because the first answer is Nirvana. They're related by common members, but they sound nothing alike, and they existed absolutely in two separate time periods. They couldn't have existed in the same time period. And then it was like every other band that Dave Grohl is in, and like Soundgarden. So it's like, hey, remember when he was in Nirvana? Well, Foo Fighters is 90s music, even though it's not 90s music.
Yeah.
And then Kings of Leon was in there, and I was like, well, fuck it, why not? So pretty well just ran them through Spotify until I got up and left work. So boring, mostly, except for the Refused record, which is interesting. Listen to it, make up your own mind. I'm still confused as to what they're trying to do. But, like I said, The Shape of Punk to Come took me like 5 years to really get. So.
See, to me, though, it does sound like Refused 20 years later.
Right.
And granted, it's 18 years later.
They're grown up now. Things are different. There's some parts that are so incredibly Refused. I like the awkwardly timed riffs and stuff. But then you have like a horn section, and it's all poppy. But then he's going murder, murder, kill, kill, kill. Like, I think they were trying to draw this picture of like, hey, look, it feels like pop music, accept politics are in it, and I don't know, maybe it's more of a concept than
It does feel like a concept album.
more than I'm ready to understand right now. So, more on that in the coming weeks.
And you could totally see them writing a concept album and not telling anyone that
Oh,
it's a
exactly.
concept album.
They denied the fact that they were writing a record for like a year. I read an interview. They said, we lied to our friends. We lied to our family and friends because we didn't want anybody to know we were writing this record. And then they just were like, oh, hey, it's coming out soon.
It's so punk rock.
It is, right? But yeah.
Could you imagine, like, if like one of the dude's wife like thought he was having like an affair or something like that because of this record? That'd be so tight.
Yeah, and then he comes home and he's like,
No, baby,
this
really,
is
I wrote
really
a
what I've
record.
been doing for the past year. Here's the record. And then she puts it on and she goes, couldn't write something better?
See, no, what I imagine is it's a guitar player, and she's like, who were you with? And he names like the producer.
She sounds hideous.
Yeah. Jake from State
Take from
Farm.
that State Farm.
And then she like grabs his hand like the 90s movie scene where the guy tries to find out that it's the typical joke, like the dad tries to find out if the kid's been smoking weed or something, and he smells his fingers and it smells like girls' lady parts. Only she does that and it smells like guitar strings, like nickel. I don't know if anybody's ever had like the nickel smell like, stuck to their fingers. I don't know. That's where my mind went. That's dumb. Jake from State Farm's way funnier.
Yeah.
It was just relevant, that's all.
So what new releases have came out?
Let's talk about the Wonder Years. Fuck, I want to talk about the Wonder Years.
Clearly you do.
I listened to this song like 15 times the day it came out. I learned how to play it within a day, if not less. Like, I fucking love this song. It's incredible.
Man, you so wanted to talk about it, and that's all you can say is you fucking love this song.
Well, I mean, if you really want to hear like my exact thoughts, you check it out on my blog, freshfromthefryingpan.wordpress.com. I wanted to, like, that was an invitation for you to say something.
Yeah, I like it. I like everything the Wonder Years have put out. It's not different, though. It's not. If anything, the only thing I have to say negative about it is their last record, The Greatest Generation.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. They are not a pop punk band anymore.
No.
From that record, that is just a straight, solid rock record. And this song, Cardinals, I feel like they're taking a step back to kiddie pop punk. It's a great song. But it easily could have came off Suburbia.
So I think it's too dark for Suburbia. It's too
Maybe,
serious.
but
The
it's-
subject matter especially.
Maybe, but it's
deep shit.
It's not anything that could have been on The Greatest Generation. It's definitely more of a pop punk and maybe even, dare I say, Citizen-esque song. If you talk about early Citizen. Because it is dark. But it's still more along the lines of pop punk than The Greatest Generation was a rock record. And we thought they were going that way, and they clearly went to something different, which is fine. If Soupy's going to consider the fact that he's just ever changing, and he's not one of these bands that's going to go like, oh, we grew up, this is what we want to play now. He's just going laterally instead of growing up. He's just staying lateral and just writing a different record.
See, I feel like if you follow from the upsides on, you can track his depression and his neuroses and like all of his problems, and I feel like you get a different perspective on him every album. Like, The Greatest Generation was the first time he talked about like his family and his grandfather was clinically depressed and like how he grew up poor and all this, and he's like reflecting inward. And I mean, like I dug really deep into Cardinals, and it's him realizing that he was so caught up in his own depression that he completely missed the fact that one of his friends was going through the same thing, and now he feels like it's too late to do anything about it. He feels like shit. So like I feel like it's his life, but the older he gets, he looks at it from different angles. That's how I see it. From every album is something different.
It is a great song. I do like the song.
Glad you had a lot to say about what I just said. I said a lot of things.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, what you said about him like realizing that a friend is going through the same thing and he thinks it's too late to go through it makes me think about something on an outside of the music portion of this, and that is two bands that came up together clearly in the pop punk scene are the Wonder Years and A Loss for Words. There's plenty of other bands that also came up at the time, but the Wonder Years, where kids really got into it, even though everyone hates it, including the Wonder Years, get stoked on it. And then kids really like the Upsides, which they still play songs off of that, so clearly they still like that record. I just feel like the Wonder Years were a cheesy pop punk band in the beginning, and they've grown up, where A Loss for Words has been a grown up, almost contemporary adult contemporary pop punk band the whole time. But here we are, A Loss for Words will be broken up by December. They're one of my favorite pop punk bands, and I feel like on a different level, Soupy is kind of talking about where he sees a friend in depression. He also sees where his band is going to keep moving forward, and most of the bands that he came up with are all breaking up because they didn't hit the level of success that the Wonder Years hit.
I hate to be that metalhead that doesn't listen to any other genre, because I mean, obviously I don't, but pop punk is one of those things that I'm still like kind of tiptoeing into. Like I love the story so far.
See, that's too new school for me.
But that's
goes right over my head.
That's actually what I was going to talk about in my new releases section.
That's that. But I mean, you guys are talking about this, and I'm sitting over here just twiddling my thumbs like, I don't know.
Any other new releases for you?
Kody dropped a song today, and I
ask you about
regretfully didn't get the chance. It wasn't on Spotify when I went looking for it, and then I was really busy at work. I mentioned that. And then I just, as soon as I got home, I should have listened to it then, but I was doing something else, and then you picked me up, and then here we are. And I'll probably listen to it when I'm done here, and I'll talk about it next time, which seems to be the trend, because I'm a disorganized fuck. But, I mean, I can't think of anything else.
No, Kitty, you can't be on this. You can't be on the podcast. Your cat's trying to rub on the microphone. You are not the special guest.
But she's treating you like the guest.
There's a new Bless the Fall song. I listened to it. It sounds like all Bless the Fall. I don't know. I think I talked about it briefly last week. But the new Jimmy Eat World, I did finally get a chance to listen to it.
I have not.
And it is awesome. It is everything from Bleed American and Futures with almost more of a punk, dirty, artsy rock feel to it. Simple Plan just dropped a new single.
No shit.
I haven't heard it yet. I'm sure we'll listen to it after this. And Real Friends also dropped a new single, which I'll be honest, I don't give two shits about. They're, in my opinion, a band that really just tries to take the Wonder Years and just make it. They're just a complete Wonder Years ripoff. They sound like Get Stoked on it and the Upsides, and they don't add anything to it. They're really good dudes, as there are. It's just musically something that I cannot get into. So then we can get to the story so far, new record. Have you listened to the new record?
Actually, no. The dad wife kind of keeps me behind on stuff. Like, I actually just listened to the new Lamb of God track, like, earlier today.
Yeah, we listened to that last week.
I don't know. I heard like 20 seconds of it, and I couldn't. I don't like Lamb of God. I never liked Lamb of God. Like that's sacrilege. You ever heard a song called Sacrilege?
They did.
Yeah, like metal guys and metalcore guys and hillbillies are like what the fuck do you mean? Like Lamb of God's like the most metal that ever metal. They're like, and the way I see it, they're like the Metallica of modern metal. Like they're like the front. They're like the most well known. They have a name everybody knows. Like, you know all the band members' names. At least I know like 4 of them, and I don't even like the band. Like I spend a good deal of time.
I know one, and I like the first record.
See, I spend a lot of time making fun of Randy Blythe's inability to scream. Like when I get a cold and I try to scream, that's what I sound like, and then I walk around saying "Lay them to rest" over and over again. As a joke. Like, I cannot fucking stand Lamb of God. And more than I hate Lamb of God, I hate Lamb of God's fans. because they're the worst pieces of shit. Like, they're almost all just like fucking hillbillies who want to talk about how they're the heaviest band in the world. And I'm like, I assure you, they're not the heaviest band in the world.
Well, that kind of bleeds into what I wanted to say about the story so far.
But also, like, fuck Five Finger Death Punch. That song.
Yeah, we listened to that.
Yeah, that was
week.
abysmal. Don't listen to that. That's bad.
Jekyll and Hyde is the name of the song if you want to look it up and see how bad it is. He actually, for 35% of the song, doesn't sing. He's just spoken word over a guitar track.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. But back to the new Story So Far record.
I feel like I cut you off about Lamb of God.
Oh, we can come back to it if we want. I don't know.
The new song, you just heard it.
Yeah. Q's still on the story so far. He thought I was
It's okay, you
about
can
it.
finish Lamb of God.
Okay. Lamb of God, like, they're like the godfathers of metalcore, which is why I definitely appreciate them. You know, like you said, they're the
Diecast and like Converge and like shit like that is the god. Like, we're talking about different types of metalcore.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure. But I mean, they're like you said, they're definitely like the Metallica of metal, which I mean, that's probably a better comparison than what I made. And that's the reason that I definitely appreciate them. Like you said, Randy Blythe, he sounds like he's got a cold, but it's fucking awesome.
See who gives a fuck?
You know, his high ranges are actually pretty impressive.
I wouldn't know.
Did you say you did listen to the new song?
Yeah, I did. And the instrumental, like, I mean, there's nothing really too different. Like, they're kind of like Black Dahlia Murder, how they just kind of like do the same stuff that they've been doing, but they just make it better with each record, or they try to. And you know, the instrumental, there wasn't too much to comment on. It's Lamb of God. It's tight if you like it. If you don't, sorry. The big thing that everyone was talking about was that Randy Blythe sang Queens.
Yeah.
And the guy's not bad. Like, I mean, it was definitely a shock, because it's not like Redneck, how it's so goddamn easy to write this. It's not that shit. But it's definitely it wasn't bad. It wasn't abysmal. It wasn't forced. And Randy Blythe has the ability to do it. And I really wish that metal fans, every time they heard Cleans, were just like, "This is pussy shit." Like, it's
there's a blog called No Clean Singing.
Yeah, and fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know who that is, but I hope someone sends him a car bomb.
I don't like the song, but it's not because his cleans are fine. It's just, I think it's different than Lamb of God. Although at the same time, I've only listened to the first two records, because the second record to me is abysmal compared to the first record.
Are we talking about the one that Laid to Rest is on, Ashes of the Wake? Is that the one you don't like?
Yeah.
Dude, get the fuck out of here.
As the Palaces Burn is the only good record Lamb of God has ever put out.
Well,
Everything else is just As the Palace Burn rehashed and then turning into Mastodon, which is exactly how I feel about this new song. It sounds like something that Mastodon would write.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's like your favorite porn video. Like, it's like your standby. Like, if you don't find anything, you just search that. You just search for that. You just go back to that standby. You jerk it off. You get off, and it wasn't the best. It wasn't new, but you still fucking came.
Oh man.
I mean, and that's how anyone who likes Lamb of God feels.
This podcast just got weird.
I like that analogy, though.
Yeah, like, I'm the king of analogies, man. Honestly, we probably had some really good we had some really good material. There was probably a lot more mean before we even started the podcast.
Yeah, it's probably better most of that didn't get in, actually. Real Friends.
No, Story So Far.
Story So Far.
Story So Far. Yeah.
New school pop punk that's not Newfound Glory, so I don't care. But go on.
It's still probably, besides Newfound Glory, the closest thing to easycore. If anybody has actually talked to me in the past 4 or 5 years, in public, you probably hear me talk shit about it. But yet somehow I still find myself listening to it at least 5 times a week. It's super catchy. It's kind of the same feeling I have about A Day to Remember. It's not anything that special to me, but it totally gets stuck in my head, and I totally want to listen to it all the time. Clearly, they don't sound similar to each other, but I finally came to a conclusion, especially after listening to the new full record, and that is, Story So Far doesn't really write a bad song. They don't write any fantastic songs, but they write somewhere between good to great songs. And really, the reason I actually don't like them has nothing to do with the music themselves or the people in the band. It has to do with their fans. The kids that, and I'm not Actually, I am. Fuck it. Austin, who plays in Hail to the King.
Not
Denihilist.
When
how
he
many times
played,
a day does that happen, by the way?
When he played in
Not
Hail
that
to the
many.
King, Hail to the King played Jamboree in Toledo, Ohio, 2 years ago.
I don't fucking know. It blurred together.
I think it's 2 years ago. And day one, Austin didn't care about any of the bands. Hail to the King did play day two. And Austin and his girlfriend paid whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it was a ridiculous amount of money, $26 or higher, only to come in and see the Story So Far.
And they were fantastic.
They had a great set.
Dude, that's another thing that really sold me. Like, a band that I don't listen to, but I see them live and they're incredible. It doesn't matter what genre it is. If it was incredible live, I'm a fan.
The only thing that I will say negative about their new record, and I don't even think it's negative, I think it actually gives it more of a nostalgia factor, is there's 3 songs on that record where for the first 20 seconds of the song, I feel like I'm listening to Nirvana.
That's a sweet feeling.
Heavy Gloom is one of the singles off of that record, and that opening bass line is one note away from Sliver by Nirvana. But it's a great record. Definitely check it out. I was actually talking about it at the show last night with a buddy of mine from Indy, Josh Davis, and we were trying to figure out if they've actually put out a song that's bad. The only song that I personally think I don't listen to on a regular basis is the second track off the Stick to Your Guns split, but everything else they've ever put out I do enjoy, and it's just the kids that listen to them that go, yeah man, I love pop punk, let's go to a pop punk show, and then they watch the Story So Far and they leave. Or they sit outside and smoke until the Story So Far plays, and then they leave.
See, I always get the Story So Far and Stick to Your Guns mixed up. I don't know that they're different bands.
Story So Far is a pop punk band / easycore, and Stick to Your Guns is a hardcore band where their first record you could probably say is a metalcore record.
Okay. Yeah, no, they're the same. For some reason, it's the same band to me.
Probably because they have a split.
I feel like Stick to Your Guns is like I think that they would like fall under that metalcore, but they've got more of a hardcore influence than most metalcore.
I think
metalcore is
I
such
think
a
the
big
newer
umbrella.
that they get,
Right.
I think the newer records that you get into, they're definitely more of a hardcore band now. Although they're definitely a hard band to describe because I hate subgenre, but they're almost an anthemic hardcore band where it's like not traditional hardcore in the least bit, but it's not even traditional metalcore in the least bit.
So it's like a hardcore band with like a pop song structures.
Just listen to it.
It would be Rise Against with less punk.
Like
Right.
in no way are they complex, and you know I wouldn't even saying they're original kind of was going out on like a limb, but they're just hard to describe. And
They definitely could go 16 different ways in every song.
Gotcha.
which is nice.
So, anything going on locally? Obviously, we have Kody here, so we're going to talk about Hale Denihilist stuff in a bit, but like, is there anything else going on? New releases and things?
Locally.
While it's on the top of my mind, a bunch of us guys were talking about going down to Warped Tour this year to pass out flyers and CDs and stuff, and I had one of those little girl on the taco commercial, like, brilliant idea moments. I was like, why don't we do a comp? And they acted like they'd never heard of comps before, so we're doing a comp, and it's like 20 local bands. We are going to pass out at a Warped Tour, but obviously it's going to get posted online, so anybody will be able to get it, and that will be cool because there's so much like variance between bands, and I think it's going to be really cool.
For anyone that's predominantly friends with me and has known me to do Real Heart comps in the past, this is actually going to be this year's Real Heart comp. I'm not clearly taking credit for it because Brandon is actually working on it and doing all the work this year, which is great because that means I can relax and not have to. But it will definitely be, the local Real Heart comp type thing for this year, for 2015. on top of being at Warped Tour, we also have all the major shows coming up. It's a free comp, obviously, and it basically just like what I can think about from last year is like you take it to Here's the Heroes house party, and they go, oh, Here's the Heroes is on this. Let's just stick it in and listen, and then maybe that's the first time one of those kids hears Denihilist, or one of those kids hears We Are Is Running.
Are you putting Denihilist on the comp?
I tried to get somebody, like I added dudes from the bands to the group that I made, and no one said anything.
No, I'm just saying because you were on last year's comp.
Yeah,
but
I don't have anything to do with like. It's completely up to them. Like I don't own anything that they're doing right now, so I can't really authorize that.
Yeah. Well, they should put something on there, but maybe they didn't want to. Who knows?
They probably just don't check Facebook or something.
But obviously, they don't need the press.
That's a lie. I mean, like any band needs press, needs exposure. Yeah. Like I mean, like turning down a show.
Well, like, how many hits did Rupture get?
I didn't
lots, probably.
Honestly, it was like I think I was talking to the producer, Sammy Morales, and he was telling me that it didn't do as good as he was anticipating. But I mean, like I don't know, like I'm not keeping track of it. Like I'm not. It's kind of weird for me, but at the same time, it's a nice big like not stress relief because I'm not like wondering like, oh my god, why were there 2,000 hits today? You know. I listened to that song. I think I listened to that new song like maybe like 3 or 4 times, just that way I could get a feel for it and like see how Jordan was doing. Which I feel like he did justice. He's definitely going to be a great fit.
I think I made it through twice.
Yeah, I mean you don't really listen to heavy music.
I do not.
I mean I made it through half of the time.
God damn it, Q.
Anything else going on around here before we get?
No, I think we should just get into
the pretty boy elephant in the room.
Pretty boy elephant in the room.
The balding pretty boy.
Yeah, somehow me and Brandon have more hair than you do.
And we're the old guys.
Yeah, I know. Fuck. We still look good with a shaved head. Remember when I was rocking that shaved head?
Yeah.
Christy won't let me do it. I asked her, I'm just like, Christy, I'm going to walk. Does
she have your balls?
Balls?
Balls. Does she
testicles.
have your balls? Your testicles?
No, like I mean, she'll tell me to do it, but it's like she'll like just do it. But I'm just like I know that I know it's like reverse psychology.
It means she's stealing the pillows and the covers when you're trying to go to bed.
That's a fucking lie because I have my own pillows and covers.
Okay. Do you do the 2 blanket thing too?
Yes, we do.
Oh my god, we've been doing that for like the day after the first time we slept in the same bed. It was just like okay, different blankets.
Dude, for like the first like year and a half we were together. Like I would stay over at her house or stay over at my house. Well, our grandparents' house. But we would share the same blanket, and Christy would, like, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and Christy would be asleep, and I would just take that blanket and just put it just over her nose and just rip ass. And I didn't tell her for the first year and a half, and then I finally told her, and she wouldn't talk to me for like 2 days.
No shit.
Yeah.
God.
Man, I just fart on girls. Fuck it.
I can't. Like if there's one in the room, I just like I don't have to fart until they leave.
I mean, I totally feel like for the first like 2 years, like I didn't like let her in on the fact that I farted, you know. But then like, I think that she farted on me first. Actually, we were watching Harry Potter, and it was like one of the scenes where like the owl. It was the owl brought in the.
Yeah, you're speaking Japanese to me.
The owl brought in Harry's new broom and dropped it, and Ron, one of the characters, goes, "What is it?" And me and Christy are cuddling, and I'm just like, "A dildo." And she laughed farts on me while we're cuddling. And from that point on, I'm just like, it's free game.
Yeah, the door's been opened.
The door has been opened.
Pandora's box.
Pandora's box. Oh my
Pandora's
god, she's gonna fucking kill me.
As much as I love talking to you boys about farting and whatnot.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Stop saying everything I say. What'd you break?
What I said.
Did you drop your phone?
This is completely not related, but like Q's doing that. Do you have a micro USB over there?
Oh, fuck. Somewhere in the house, I'm sure.
Can you have your woman like find a place to charge this?
I think so. Hang on.
Woman thing. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
I think she's bathing.
Oh, bathing.
Take your robot bean.
She'll probably definitely murder you.
I was totally kidding. I
So,
wish you would know.
August 8th will be your last show in Denihilist / Avenged Sevenfold Song. And, I don't know. Let's first talk about what made you decide that it was the time that you wished to leave the band.
Honestly, things have been kind of winding down for me for a while. Like, I made it a point where, like I told you guys, I did not want to talk shit, because I don't want to talk shit. Those guys are my best friends for, like, the past, like, 3-4 years, and, I absolutely wish them the best. But, honestly, I was getting kind of bored. Like, you could tell from, like, our first EP to Dynasties to Namacon that, as a vocalist, I was doing some crazy shit. Like, I was doing stuff that was, I was definitely excelling and getting better. And, like, the newer material that they were writing for the newest record, like, I wasn't really that attached to it. Like, it was, like, Rupture, I feel like it sounds like Sabretooth. And, when we first came together, like, everything that we did, like, was new and fresh, and Dynasties was pretty fresh. But then, like, it felt like we were just, like, it was either going to be a thrashy riff song, or it was going to be a groove song. And those are the only two that we were going to do.
Kind of like Howard leaves Killswitch Engage because he knew the next record he wasn't going to do it justice.
Yeah, and I mean, it was
something like that.
It was kind of like that, and that was another factor that played into it. But mainly, it was just like I felt bad because they wanted to tour and they wanted to take this so seriously, and I never really did. Like, when we first got in the band, I was in college, and then I got a job. It was in Cincinnati, so I moved, and, it was never my first priority. Like, I mean, of course, like, I put all my effort into it, but it was never my number one priority. It was never like, I need to do this or I'm going to kill myself, or something like that,
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and that just wasn't me. Like, I don't put all my eggs in one basket, and, I don't want to say that that's why they're not, like, the band isn't as big as it should be, but I definitely felt like I was holding them back because it wasn't my number one thing. And that's really the main reason that I left. I mean, it wasn't because, like, we were fighting or I hated the guys or anything like that. It wasn't because I didn't like the new music we were making. But everything just kind of came together, and they sat me down after my son was born, and we talked about it. And I kind of just, like, honestly, guys, I'm holding you back. And I didn't want to be a hindrance,
So it pretty well mirrors your press release statement. Although I have one question about that. Obviously, there's a lot of you talking because it was a lot of you things to say.
Yeah.
No one else said a word.
That's really just because, like, the other guys don't really, like, they're not as good at talking as I am.
Well, Drew never shuts the fuck up. But,
well, I mean, but Drew's really opinionated, and he can piss people off really easily. And I think that might have been, like, another reason why. I mean, we did that interview video for Dynasties, which that was really cool because that was the first time we were talking to people that, like, we had never met.
Yeah.
Because we were at the time Dynasties came out, like, there was a lot of people on Facebook that we'd never played for or met and stuff like that. And that was the first time they were actually, like, getting a taste of who we were, and that was really cool. But that, yeah, they didn't really have much. They didn't really have much to say. Like, we got there to shoot the video, and we bullshitted, had a great time.
Yeah, the bloopers at the end. Clearly, it's not like anybody. It's not like they were keeping quiet because everybody's mad. Like, you can hear you guys just cutting up about playing drums with the cat, which is fucking hilarious.
It was
a dog. I've seen one with a cat. That's what it was. They were playing, like, Rings of Saturn with the cat on their lap or something. But the dog one's good, too.
Okay, well, I do have a question that might start some shit, but you're still going to have to answer it. And here's the big, real question that's on everyone's mind. So you can answer it whether you want to or not.
But he's going to make you answer it.
Why is Zachary not in the video? The press release statement of you leaving the band.
Was he at work? Was he taking a shit?
Actually, we're actually Zach. From the last time I talked to those guys, Zach was parting ways as well, and they were doing the. We actually used to have an old guitar player named Charlie, and Charlie, fantastic musician, but he got a full ride to UD. Like, we're not going to stop that. Like,
right.
This guy's going to cure cancer one day. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met, and we kind of just. we tried some people out because we knew he wasn't making practices and stuff like that. And then one day we sat him down like, dude, you got a lot going for you. You know, I don't think that we're going to be a good fit for you. And Charlie's like, you guys are absolutely right. And Charlie stepped aside, and we kind of just put Austin in. And I think that's the same thing that they're wanting to do with Zach. Which, there's a lot, like, anyone that's, like, actually talked to us or, like, you know, met us on tour and stuff like that, I've noticed that a lot of those people have either said, like, Zach and Kody were really fun to talk to, or they smoked weed with Derek and Austin. You know?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what it boils down to. And I feel like letting Zach kind of fade and replacing him like that may not do him justice, but that's what they're wanting to do. And, you know, I'm not going to, like, obviously we're not going to have as much reach as, like, what Denihilist stuff is, but people are going to, you know, like you said, people, like, locally are wondering, like, why wasn't Zach in the video? And you're going to see soon where they probably get someone new. I'm not sure if that's 110% what's going to happen, but the last time I talked to them, that's what had happened. And, you know, now, because I had handed my merch duties and handling the money and everything like that over to Zach. Now Zach has handed everything over to Derek. So I know that's true for a fact. So I'm imagining it's because Zach, and they had told me that they were going to be replacing Zach. So I'm pretty sure that that's what's happening there.
What is your favorite show that you have played in Hale/Denihilist so far?
So far, you mean ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have one more show left, and that might be your favorite show.
That might be.
That
might be.
Look, if you're not bleeding from the face,
we're going to make sure you bleed from the face.
I might feel obligated to help you out.
Actually, I think Sean Yancey's going to be the one that makes you bleed from the face.
How much money is he going to spend on this show? He spent like $60 on the name change show.
Really?
Yeah, all those pool toys, the blow up doll, the phone, the swords.
He was doing that for the initiative too.
Oh, okay.
So and he also, I think he let them borrow his gear as well. Sean Yancey can definitely be like MVP around here when he needs to be.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely one of the most supportive people ever.
Favorite show?
Favorite show? Shit. I think it's probably going to be a tie. I'm sitting here thinking of like my favorite shows. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a three-way tie. I would say my first one that comes to mind is definitely it's definitely the music video shoot for Go for the Throat at the Attic. And that was phenomenal. That was like, did you ever see At the Throne of Judgment play?
I did not.
I did several times.
Just the way that those people were like clamoring to get to the front because they knew every word. Like that's what that experience was like. And that's what I had dreamed of ever since like I wanted to be a metal frontman. And that was incredible. Second favorite show was actually In Your Basement. It was Pledge's first show. That was the most violent and ignorant shit that had ever happened.
Oh, wasn't that the only one?
I don't even remember.
Nah.
You don't remember, dude? It was
all
nuts.
of the shows at my house literally run together.
As they probably should.
Yeah.
But it was Pledge's first show. It was back when Billy was still in the band. And they had Chris and Billy both. Obviously their first show, and we played, and it was just God. I don't think I sang half my words. I think I spent most of the time like running into people. It was nuts. I loved it. What was my other favorite show? God damn it. There was one more.
Dirt Fest, EP release, album release.
Oh yeah,
name change.
Dynasty's release show was the
time you got the attic shut down.
I feel so sorry. That was Petey Bellini's little sister, and she like is no longer on social media because of that shit.
Yeah.
She's still a babe though. I don't know if you guys have ever seen her. She's told. I
actually told Brandon the story off the microphone the other day.
But yeah,
is it the story I think it is?
Probably.
We're not talking about that story.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's not talk about that story.
But she's but she's actually a pretty cool sport about it. Like she's like it wasn't like they weren't shutting down the attic because the little girl got hit in the pit. Just because this girl's face was broken.
Yeah.
Like, and that's reconstruction surgery in your face. Holy shit, that's expensive.
Yeah.
And that family couldn't pay for that.
The attic didn't have the money.
And the attic didn't have that money. And, that was the only thing they could do was, like, go to their insurance company. And that was really just the last nail in the coffin. I mean, the attic has had the foot in the grave for a while.
Yeah.
You're not selling alcohol, not putting in more entrances so they can fit as many people as that building can fit.
Yeah.
Like,
his max cap there was 770. When realistically, max cap there should be like 2,800.
Dude, you could fit as many people as you could fit into Bogarts into that place.
Oh, way more. Way more.
Yeah.
And it was just because there was only a couple exits, and that's why. So, but it was really just the last nail in the coffin. That's what shut the Attic down. I don't want to say it's my favorite show because I honestly feel really bad about that. But at the same time, it's pretty cool to brag that your band got the Attic shut down.
Except for the fact that the Attic shut down.
Except for the fact the Attic got shut down. Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, that's the place that like I went to shows like the most as a kid. You know, when the Garage 1919 shut down, because I lived in Springboro at that time.
Yeah.
And
it was a good venue.
That was a fantastic.
We were talking about that the other day. It's a good room.
It was a great room. I love the staff. I didn't like the owner. Me and Q already talked about the owner, but the staff there was great. Like they always had touring bands come through, and they always had crowds, and it was just awesome. And the Attic was like the second best. It was the second best thing, and that's where like I got all my inspiration to like that's how you learn. That's how I learned to be a frontman. That's how I got into the bands that I like. And that venue's gone, and Isaac's doing a great job keeping everything alive.
Yeah.
But Rockstar is just never going to be on that same level as the Attic, simply because it's limited by size. It's also limited by budget.
True, but I mean, Dayton has always had something. I mean, like you had the Gathering Grounds, and then at the same time you had El Diablo's downtown, and then El Diablo's shut down. Gathering Grounds shut down because the Attic took most of the business, which is fine. That's a whatever thing. And then
where was the DDC, the Dayton Dirt Collective?
That was downtown too. It was literally on the corner of 3rd and
I think I saw Grim State and Father Horror there back in the day.
But I mean, I drive by it to get to the Rockstar.
Yeah.
But and El Diablo's was literally right around there too. El Diablo's is now Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Dayton always has something. Somebody steps up to make Dayton still alive.
And Isaac has done a fantastic job at that. And anyone that went to like one show at Rockstar like 2 years ago when it first opened, it's a different ballgame, and you really should go again. I know it's not the Attic, and I understand that, but Isaac has done a great job. The venue sounds so much better. It's better put together.
Bo is an incredible sound guy.
Bo is a great sound guy. So, I feel like that venue, if you went when the Attic first shut down and never went again, you definitely need to start. You definitely need to go again.
See, I only went to the Attic not even 5 times, and that's counting the 2 times I played there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw Karate High School. Nobody is going to give a shit about Karate High School, but it was fun. I can't even remember who else played. And there was probably a couple more shows. And I thought, this is a good venue. It's a good room. It needs to do more important things than this. And eventually it did. And, I mean, now we have Rockstar. So, like, it's a transition. Unfortunately, down here with the rest of us in Cincinnati, it went from your large rooms where hardly anybody got in. It was all tour packages. And then a ton of tiny bars and stuff. There's always something going on, to nothing. Like, we're struggling to find a place to put a show. And
there's 27 places to put a show, but when your band just wants gas money and 20 kids are only going to come out, and the bar's like, give us somewhere between $2 to $4.50 to rent out.
Yeah. There's no mid-level venues anymore.
No.
Like Garage 1919, another great example. Like that is definitely like that's a venue. It's just a venue, and it was a mid-level venue. Like a small touring band could show up there and get their $75 for gas, and that was awesome. But like they couldn't book that show at the Attic because those like 90 kids that came for the locals and then stayed for the touring band. That's not going to fill up that room. The Attic isn't going to even pay their electric bill.
Yeah.
And we don't have any mid-level venues. I mean, sure, bars and everything are fantastic. VFW halls, great.
If we can get them.
If you can actually get them. But there's no mid-level venues left anymore.
See, because Dayton right now, obviously, Rockstars, the
I
big
would
Blind
say,
Bob's.
Odd Bodies.
They're like, I'd say Rockstar Pro is probably like a mid to large. Like, you're not going to get, like, Thrash and Burn to come through there.
But you do have Battlecross, Affiance, in the last year anyway. some pretty big regional and national acts.
I can't wait until someone brings like 500 or something like that to Rockstar, and Isaac just looks at it, knows the cap in the room, and he says fuck it and lets them all in because he's a greedy fucking bastard.
Oh, you mean like ICP?
Yeah, like ICP.
Although he will say, as strange as it was, they were the most professional and courteous people he's ever worked with.
Dude,
yeah, but that's just another. You're just like the story so far in other bands. Like it's not. It's you can't hate the band. You can only hate the kids.
Hail to the King actually got an offer to play the Gathering of the Juggalos, and you know it was a great offer. At first we were going to get paid, and then I get a phone call, and I actually was talking to a dude from Psychopathic Records, which was intimidating, but at the same time the dude was so down to earth. It was just cool. Like it was just like he was one of those dudes' friends, and they're like, hey, you want a job? And he said, yeah, and like he's just doing it. But he calls us up and he's like, hey, we can't pay you, but we got a really good spot for you. I'm like, okay. And then he calls me again and says, hey, we can't pay you, and I don't think we're going to get a really good spot. And I'm just like, man, we're going to be really out of our element. I would love to play, but I just feel like we might be too out of our element, and we might not do anything. And then he turns around and books fucking Cannibal Corpse.
But it's got to feel good to know that, like, you turned it down, and then they got Cannibal Corpse. Like,
I mean, no, he was going to get Cannibal Corpse anyway. We were probably going to open for Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, right, okay.
And I was shooting myself in the dick.
And I know at the time you didn't really care, but it's not like he just got Cannibal Corpse. He got Cannibal Corpse and Biohazard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's salty.
It's fucking Cannibal Corpse, though. I mean, like, dude, I'd love to talk to George Fisher. He'd probably be like, you played that pussy deathcore shit, but you're alright. And I'd be like, thanks, Dad. Thanks.
And the next question, which goes with the other question that we kind of got off topic, but what would be your least favorite show or
just the worst one?
Worst tour
experience.
Story experience, which I'm actually going to cut you off and probably answer for you on one of those, and I'm sure you're going to say, Q's van doesn't have heat, we drove to and from Pittsburgh.
That was actually in my mind, but it's not my least favorite.
Okay.
That was really fucking bad. That was like on a scale of like 1 to 1, like on a scale of like athlete's foot to AIDS. That was definitely herpes. It was definitely herpes. Like, I'm never gonna get rid of it, but at least it's not gonna fucking kill me. Anyway. The worst tour story, honestly, it was probably just like this. It was the letdown of it. There was this venue that was in. It was right outside of Chicago. Is it something like Pub? What the fuck is that place? Everyone plays there. It's not Hank's Pub. It's in like Peoria or something like that, Illinois.
Peoria is not right outside of Chicago. It's like 4 hours.
It's not Peoria then. Shit. Anyway, it's some pub. Everyone stops there for like little shit tours, and they have great food, like $2 tacos, which was a godsend. But the promoter hadn't talked to the guy who booked the show in like 2 weeks. We get messages like, hey man, and then the night before the guy says, hey man, I don't think we can do this show. I haven't, I don't think it's gonna do anything. And we're just like, what the fuck, man? We show up there and we're just like, dude, can we just get a door deal, like, so that way we get some money? Like, I'm sure there's gonna be at least some people that show up. Because like the other band had family that was showing up, and I think that we had like maybe like we had a group of kids that were supposed to show up, and only like 3 of them showed up. And they were just like, where are all the people at? And we're like, dude, we're not a big deal. But we got there, and like it was so shitty just seeing somebody like a promoter that didn't understand like the reason that you have a guarantee to fill is so you do your job and actually promote the goddamn show. The local band bought their own 10 tickets. They bought their own 10 tickets. No one watched them except for us, and I'm pretty sure that we were all setting up merch. We sold maybe 2 or 3 t-shirts that night, but it was to the 3 kids that showed up for us.
Yeah.
And it was... Was there another touring band on it?
It was, yeah, Armageddon Awaits. We toured with them, which they're another Omega band. And from, their image, you would think that, dude, this looks fucking gay. Because they wear makeup on stage, and, they powder, these black clothes. But their music really isn't bad. Their new shit is fucking awesome from, as someone who likes deathcore. the material they were playing at the time was okay, but they were really good live, and they were a lot of fun to hang out with. They're definitely one of those bands that I like. They're definitely one of those bands that like I like because I like the guys that are in it. But their new material is fucking awesome, and that stuff's gonna be coming out soon. It's Armageddon awaits. They tour all the fucking time.
So you said that was like your worst show.
I would say that's definitely my worst show, just because of the amount of letdown that there was.
How about like the worst thing that happened to you on stage?
We played number one, the management we were supposed to be working with was supposed to get us on a couple of days of that tour, but I ended up only being able to get us on one. It was that Suicide Silence Amir tour, and we opened for that at the Newport Thompson House. And God, this is probably a reason I wanted to quit. This is definitely like the first time I really heavily thought about it. But I busted my ass and sold so many tickets to that show. And it's hard because that show was fucking $25.
Yeah.
But we got there, we got everything set up. Drew forgot his drum key, so we went to go buy one. 5 minutes after we leave, said, "Hey, you guys need to set up and sound check." Drew's gone. His drums aren't even set up. No one's set up for anything, and I'm the only one there. So I'm freaking out. They finally get back. Drew sets up his drums and snaps the springy thing on the snare. I'm not a drummer.
It's just called the snare, or the wires.
Yeah, the wire of the snare. He snaps it. So Mike from Omega and French Fry.
Oh, Fry.
Yeah, they come to the rescue and do some Obama rigging shit to it and make it so it's playable. By the time we are done sound checking, it is time for the doors. Originally, those doors were supposed to open at 5:30. It was freezing cold outside. 5:30, so that room could fill up and we could play. We were playing, and we're halfway through our set, and that room had just started letting people in.
Yeah, it's actually happened to me at the Thompson House. The advertised door time and the actual door time was like 45 minutes difference, and we played to no one.
And really, the only reason that even happened to us was because nothing was set up and nothing was ready.
Yeah.
And I was pissed about it, but like no one really said anything. Like no one was just like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why did this even happen? You want to be in a professional level band? Why would this even be a thing?" And that was and I think that was definitely when I first started thinking about quitting. Was just like holy shit. It was just like a holy shit. How could you fuck up something this big and something we worked this hard on that bad?
Yeah. So concussions, ripped pants, those sort of things.
Dude, I brag about that shit. Like the concussion I got on stage at Bogart's. You know how many people people I work with like in Blue Ash? And just like, yeah, I play Bogart's. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I gave myself a concussion on stage. What? Like it's a sweet brag.
Yeah.
What is the song that you wrote that you feel the most strongly about? Like your favorite song that you wrote?
I have a lot of emotional connections to a lot of my lyrics, believe it or not.
How many songs do you have not written about sluts?
Actually, a lot more than you think. It's just because the singles have mostly been about them.
I was going to say, I've actually come to think of it, you probably have, 2? Maybe 3?
Yeah, and honestly, the Starletta song that I wrote, it was about a girl that I dated that was an internet stripper behind my back, like a webcam stripper. And really, it was she lost her benefits for disability because she was she was sick and couldn't work. It was one of those things that you couldn't. It didn't really affect her, but it made it so she couldn't work and couldn't do things that could be potentially hazardous. And it made sense because she lost her benefits. That's why she was doing it. And I had this mentality when I was from the ages of 19 to 21, where if someone hit me with something, I'd hit them back 4 times harder. And that's the whole reason I did it. And me and her are cool now. There's no bad blood whatsoever. And I hate playing that song because of that.
Wait, which one?
Starletta.
And which one is it about?
I can't say who that's about.
Yes.
I don't want to.
Didn't that one get introduced as the one with daddy issues?
Yeah, and I still say that because it's funny.
Yeah.
But I honestly, on the inside, I feel bad
I just
about
know that I had one time had been friends with one of the girls that one of your songs was about and didn't know who the other one was about.
Yeah, that's because no one really knows her because I dated her through high school. Go for the Throat is probably my most emotionally charged song. That's where Like I said, if someone hits me, I hit them back 4 times harder. I feel like Go for the Throat's the song that I hit them back like 12 times harder. Like, I feel like that has the meanest hook in it. I really don't like playing it that much because I don't want to be that mean anymore. You know?
Is that because you're a dad?
No, it's because I don't want to be portrayed like that. Like,
You
there's
grow
there's,
up.
there's people out there that think that I'm like this gigantic dickhead.
You are.
I'm not a dickhead. I'm very nice. I feel like I'm a very nice dude.
You're a very nice dickhead.
I'm a very nice dickhead.
With blacked out eyes.
Actually, the real reason,
blood coming
I will be
around.
honest. The reason that most people would probably think that you're a dickhead is you have a very solemn look, even when you're having a conversation. You're either very chill, like
No one can see your face.
no
It's
one
a
can
podcast.
tell like what your facial reaction is, or you're just super excited, like crazy super excited, or your smile literally, like, not to sound cheesy and not hetero, but it just brightens up a whole room and you can just tell you're so excited. Like literally, like, I can't remember which rock star show it was, but, and I don't even know if it was me or somebody else, but somebody socked you in the face, you started bleeding on stage, and you're literally like, yeah, I'm bleeding on stage.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like, it's just my fucking face. I guess like a resting bitch face.
Well, apparently the discussion was being had the other day of if you saw Q and myself walking on the street, who would you be more likely to talk to? And
It was
Q's
more intimidating.
Q's gigantic mookie ass was apparently more appealing than me. So,
We had this conversation the other day because some of the kids, and hopefully they'd actually be kids that are listening, but Eddie DeWeese, or how you pronounce his last name.
Demaroo, I don't know.
Is that the kid that always like posts really annoying shit?
Yes.
He's an alright kid.
I've never.
Most of the
I've never
annoying
met
shit
him.
he actually posts because I actually be like, man, this is mean or insensitive or shitty, and he's
It's
literally
shock
just
value.
trying to troll. He's just
Yeah.
shock value. But anyways, like,
Oh, okay.
I literally was like, dude, we talk on Facebook all the time. Why can't you just come up and say hi to me? He's like, well, you're scary. And I was like, how? I'm not scary. I'm a big giant teddy bear. And then the lead singer from Hunter's Chase said the same thing.
I'm pretty sure the vocals from Hunter's Chase has more muscle in his upper body than you do in your entire frame.
Man, that's not true.
That kid is a little ripped.
I would say the only person that has more muscle than I have in my entire frame in like one little body part of theirs is probably Nick Sapp.
Nick Sapp is
Yeah.
he's like 99% muscle, and then 1% dick.
I thought a dick was a muscle.
On him, it is.
Oh, I'm just thinking about Murderface playing slap bass with his dick.
Here come on the fat one.
I hope Nick Sapp isn't trying to do that. He'd probably break the strings.
He probably can't reach. Sorry.
That's cold. Sorry, Sapp Dad.
Sorry, Sap Dad. Love
I'm trying to think of more, just like old question. What happened to that box? You were so proud of your box because it got like a cool artwork on it,
Mhm.
and then like a board came off of it one time, and you're like, "Hey, wait, no, I fixed it," and you like hammered it back in or something. What happened? Where did it go?
We played a show at a state, and I broke it into pieces.
With your face or with your foot or
I threw it.
why?
Which show was that? Was I there? Was that the West Virginia show?
I think it was.
I think it was
I'm pretty
too.
sure I threw it at the West Virginia show. There was like 10 kids there, but they were going fucking nuts for us. And I threw my box at them.
Did it hit anybody?
No, they got out of the way. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. But yeah, like, I was so proud of that box because it was perfect. It was the exact like size of like my stance. That's really gay to like actually know that, but it worked really well. We had good chemistry.
You in this box.
Me and this box
Yeah.
did, and a wonderful artist in Milford named Madeline Fomenov did the artwork on the front. Fantastic, awesome girl. Very, very talented. Totally is underage, so don't get any ideas. She used to have dreads, I've got a thing for dreads. Like, I've been begging Christy to get dreads. And she's like, you just want me to get dreads because Madeline has them. I'm just like, no, I want you to get dreads because I fucking like girls with dreads.
I don't, because usually they try to sell me acid.
Yeah, that's a different type of girls with dreads. I'm talking like classy girls with dreads. Like, they look like Jack Sparrow with tits and no mustache. Like, I would fuck that.
Whatever, you would fuck Jack Sparrow.
I'm learning so much about you I didn't need to know.
Kody Hale is bi-curious? Oh my.
Where's all the rum going? Fap, 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 fap.
I'm just kidding. I love the gays. I mean, look how I dress. But I don't think I could ever lick a butthole. Sorry, ladies.
So you threw the box, you broke it a million pieces.
And I left it at the venue.
Gotcha. There's one show I remember really well. What was it? Hale Manipulator Pledges at the Backyard Bar.
Yeah.
That was one of the most psychotic things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Was that Q-Palooza 3?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Q-Palooza yet. It's one that we worked on with
with Thou Shalt Not Who Shall Not Be Named.
the old Special K, and I know Pledges was on it, which they're just violent as all hell.
They played that Limp Bizkit cover and it was tight.
That was that night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Davey did the vocal for it, while Chris did cartwheels to the pit.
God, I love Davey.
But there was like a table. Somebody brought a table.
Uh-huh.
And he did the entire show from the floor, standing on this person's coffee table that they brought to the show for no reason. I wonder what became of the coffee table too.
We left it there. It wasn't my coffee table to take. And on top of that, it weighed a ton.
Yeah.
I
remember you tried. Did you flip it over once?
Yeah, I did. There was another time we went to the backstage, and there was a nail protruding from that box, and I hit my head on the nail.
Oh no!
And bled profusely.
Wait, the black backstage or the backyard?
It was. What the? It's the one that's off of Columbia.
That's backyard.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
backstage
2 blocks.
is down in Covington next to the Madison Theater.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Backyard. Backyard.
Which we did shows there until a band brought somebody through, and they decided to kick the urinals off the wall and spray paint pentagrams and fuck straight edge all over the bathroom. And then
That's metal as fuck.
the promoter, who again shall not be named, said, "This is not my responsibility, and I'm not going to try to pay for it. Fuck you." And we no longer get to book shows there. Yeah, thanks. So, any other just good stories, like good memories? Like, obviously, you don't hate anybody. You're not mad. You're stepping down for mostly perfectly understandable reasons. Any like reflecting to be done, like fun stories, good things that maybe not everybody's heard. While we have you here,
being in a band with Drew Kruger will make you gain at least 30 pounds.
Which is funny because actually I met Drew through this band, and
You gained 30 pounds.
yeah. But when I met Drew, he's vegan straight edge.
Yeah,
He was
and
vegan?
Yeah,
he was vegan straight edge, and
weird.
we were recording with Sode up in Columbus, and Isaac Reeder drove him and Derek to record because I couldn't do it because I was working, and he took them to Cane's and made Drew try Cane's. I don't know if you've ever had Raising Cane's chicken.
I for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Holy shit!
Okay, it didn't change my life, but it was good.
It changed Drew's life, and it changed it was for the worse. But when I first got into Hale, like I was like 180 pounds, and I think, and granted, I did go to the gym, so I did gain muscle mass and whatnot, but I weigh like 215 right now, and I blame Drew for that. Like I'm pretty sure, like if I just went to the gym and didn't gain all that weight, I'd be like maybe like 190, 200.
Yeah, or you're talking to a couple of fat asses, so. One fat ass vegetarian, which doesn't make any sense.
Totally makes sense. I eat a lot of cheese.
All right. But listening to Drew prattle on about gas station nachos and roller bib hot dogs,
Motherfucker's got a problem.
if it's crawling with vermin or soaked in Mountain Dew or is Mountain Dew, he will
might be
consume it.
straight edge, but he's addicted to food.
I mean, I feel that.
No, you're addicted to bacon and coffee.
So
Espresso, sorry.
So last night I spent $16 on materials to make grilled cheese. You're giving me this look.
Like,
So,
was the cheese like made out of like methamphetamine?
okay, so I already had some white American at the house.
Yeah.
But then I got some Gouda and some smoked ham and some of that microwavable bacon, and then Texas toast because I wanted them on like big crunchy bread. And I think I bought raisin toast for breakfast too. So subtract that like $3. I spent like $12-13 on materials for grilled cheeses. Mostly it was the Gouda.
My inner dad is just flipping shit. Like, I'm just like, you didn't even clip coupons?
No coupons. Kroger Plus card. Yeah.
That's it's okay.
Wait, you went to Kroger instead of Walmart? That's weird.
Fuck Walmart. They don't even have like a card that makes things cheaper magically.
Their
No,
food,
they're
they
just
couldn't get
cheaper.
any cheaper. It's state minimum. Like, their employees are impoverished. They couldn't make it any cheaper.
I like Walmart way better than Kroger.
I like Walmart because they're open at 4 o'clock in the morning. But our Walmart is out of everything always. And the produce sucks dick, which I don't care about. My girlfriend does. So we went to Kroger because she wants to eat fruit and shit. And then I ended up with a bunch of Gouda and bacon, grilled cheese. And highly recommend it, by the way. Crumble up bacon and grilled cheese. It's dope shit.
I love mushroom and grilled cheese.
Kody, where are you going musically forward?
Well, I have. I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting music by any means. There was a lot of projects that like I wanted to start. Like, I wrote probably like 10 pages of new metal lyrics that are mean and pissed off, and it's just like, dude, this guy sounds like he just wanted to be Corey Taylor, which is fantastic. But it just never really worked out. So I took the one member that like our schedules matched up with, and I definitely wanted to work with. Because this band's no longer together. It's Andrew Baxter from the Holy Guile. They're not playing any music anymore. I've always really admired Andy. I feel like a lot of people around here don't give him enough credit because he was playing stuff that was programmed for a computer to play. And so kind of, when he's writing his own music, he doesn't take into account that humans have to be able to perform it. But Andy is a fantastic drummer. And I saw that. Other people didn't see that. And that's, I feel like that's why he kind of gets downplayed, especially nowadays. But in all reality, he's fantastic. I took him, and we got approached by another guy, Ray Culberson, who records up north at Reef Studio. And we also recruited another guitar player, Ryan Wilbur, who was shred-tastic.
I feel like I know that name from somewhere. What was he in?
I don't remember what band he was in. He's from out of state and kind of moved here, I'm pretty sure. I don't really know him that well. I just know that he can play.
Yeah.
And what we were going to do originally was we were just going to rip off the Black Dahlia Murder, which, that's fantastic. But then Ryan started playing some of the material that he had written, and it was just this nasty, blackened death metal of just hatred and Satan. And we just decided that, okay, we're going to rip off Behemoth, because there's a lot more theatrical stuff that we can do with that live. Everyone in that band works a 9 to 5. None of us want to tour. None of us have any interest in being in the biggest band in the world. Really, the way that we looked at it is that we wanted to do cool stuff occasionally. You guys remember Gnashing of Teeth?
Absolutely.
I remember putting the name on a flyer.
Gnashing of Teeth is that dad local band that is awesome live. They play shows and they put out records, but they all have day jobs. Like, they don't want to make it their career. Like, they may tour like 2 weeks out of the year, and that's just for fun. And they rip. They're awesome, and they just play. That's all they do. Like, they go to their jobs on the weekends. They get their shit out of the way, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be the Gnashing of Teeth of black and death metal, because we can wear corpse paint on stage, and that was something we all decided we wanted to be able to do.
So that because my mind goes, okay, well, what is Kody Hale backbends and blackout contacts and concussions, and what the hell is he gonna do if he's not in Hail to the King, Denihilist? Like, what's next? Like, is it gonna be a step in a different direction? Is it just gonna be more fun? And the first thing out of your mouth is goat blood and corpse paint. And I'm like, you know what? Makes perfect fucking sense.
It does. I mean, like there was several ways you could go. Like, and I could easily probably be in a hardcore band because like my mid ranges have really developed, and that's something that's really easy to get into, something that you can just play and have fun. Because I mean, like I'm in love with these new bands that are coming out right now, like Nails. That their record, everyone was talking about it. It was just so pissed and just loud, and that sounds like something that'd be great to play live. And you got a band like Knocked Loose, who's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum as far as that goes, but they're still aggressive and they're still pissed.
Yeah.
And that was something that could have been done. I also wanted to kind of go to the new metal route because I've always wanted to be a rapper. I've always wanted to do that.
See, what's interesting is that you're
23.
23. I'm 26, and like the height of nu metal was when I was like 10 to 14. So like my first idea for a band, I was wearing a mask with dreadlocks hanging off of it, and like that was my vision. It never actually happened.
Yeah.
But I had the mask made. I made it. Like, don't get me wrong, I made masks and stuff. Like, nu metal was the thing, and it's interesting to see it come back. And you worked your way up through deathcore, and I don't really remember what happened before that. But.
Well, actually, I was in another band first. I was in a band called The Falling Object Model, which I played bass in, and they were like Fall Out Boy meets Fall of Troy, which was really cool and it was really fun to play. And like their music that they wrote, like their music they were writing, like towards like the end of my tenure in that band was phenomenal. But they were all really smart kids, straight A students. Like they all went to college and stuff. And I really didn't want to play that sort of music at the time. I wanted to play metal. So I actually, when I moved to Wilmington, so that was my first strike against me. So I got into a death metal band called Entropy. And I was in that band for a while until they decided they wanted to be Despised Icon and got a second vocalist. Second vocalist did not like sharing the stage with me. And so a lot of bullshit went around, and I got kicked out. I went to college, wasn't playing music for a while, which was really depressing. And then Hail to the King kind of came knocking at my door. They were originally members of Upon My Arrival, and they kind of knocked like, hey, we think you're sick. Can you come do vocals? And then that first practice, we wrote Go for the Throat.
Yeah. So obviously the logical answer after that is to launch yourself back into 2003 and start rap yelling. That makes perfect sense.
I mean, it was just like the whole chaotic, like the chaotic thing that like I wanted to go for, I wanted to go for with Hail to the King. But as they became Denihilist, like they wanted me to stay away from that. Like there was some shows that I played where like I was developing almost like this character, and there were people that didn't get it. There were people that weren't comfortable with it, and and it was memorable, but it wasn't as wide of an appeal as what they wanted, which is why I backed off on it. And I wanted to kind of be able to go back into that, and that's where the whole idea of black and death metal comes in. I'm a metalhead. I don't listen to just deathcore. Like my favorite band is easily Behemoth or Hour of Penance. Like those bands just like that shit. I love it. And that's and it kind of fell in my lap that way, where it's like this is what type of band you're going to be doing, and here I am. We're just writing tracks, not really giving a shit. Like we're not going to be buying Facebook likes or something like that. We're just going to be putting stuff out, recording, and maybe playing a show. Here or there. We got to talk to Isaac about the goat blood.
Yeah, please don't throw goat blood at me.
I mean, we might put like a disclosure, like don't wear clothes you don't want ruined. Like people would know, like they're like you used to go to a Guar show and you knew not to wear something you wanted to keep
or stand really far back.
Actually, was hanging out with a guy I went to college with, and he it was really hot in Florida, so obviously everyone sweats all day long. And I guess he had washed his denim vest, but I guess he didn't get all the ink and blood and snot and crazy shit out of it. And he took it off at one point, and all that shit had bled from the inside of his vest onto his white T-shirt, and he was super pissed. He's like, what is this? He was like, oh, I went to a Guar show like 3 months ago. I guess all the stage junk didn't wash out. I was like, that is hilarious, tragic, and incredible at the same time.
Yeah.
That there's that much junk I actually knew somebody else who ended up with fake blood get behind their contact lens while they were at the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want it in my eyes. That sounds awful.
Gotta love War.
Well,
And then you got Watain. They're doing like the real shit. Jesus Christ.
Watain
Fried.
is tight.
What?
Watain is what? Tight. Can't even say it. Watain is tight.
Watain is one of those bands where like the records to me are okay, and I think that's probably because deathcore has ruined my appreciation for anything that's not impeccably produced. Which
You can
sucks.
find that.
Which sucks. And I like Watain as like on recording, but live is where it's at. Like knowing that these guys almost like live, breathe, and eat this Satan shit, like the throwing blood on people, and that's awesome to me.
I've actually never heard their record. I've only seen them live once.
I've never even heard of them.
They're well, like imagine if War was real. Yeah, that's it.
But not musically the same.
Not musically the same, but like that's like what they do. Like people leave their shows because the smell is too bad.
That's rough.
Brutal.
So, yeah, you wanted to talk about Slipknot.
Hang on.
Oh my god, we've been
Hang
at
on.
this for so long. How many hours are we on?
Hang on.
1.5. We got time. Hold on.
Yeah, we do have time. But this is what Slipknot is going to be. What we're going to argue for best record.
You got something else?
This, yeah, we're gonna do a couple small ones, like small ones.
Oh, right.
That I don't consider worth. Not that they're not worth using a whole episode, but maybe there's some that like me and Kody would listen to, or Brandon won't, or Kody and Brandon would, but I don't.
Or I like and no one else likes.
Or
We reached out to people and said, what should we review? And we realized that a lot of these bands, we don't have opinions on the worthy enough to argue about for the next hour or so. So we're just going to run through a quick list of these, and it's kind of like playing "Fuck This Band."
Yeah, it
Fuck
kind
that
of
band.
is. It'll be like, what's your favorite record, and then maybe give like 2 sentences as to why or whatever. But Kody, we'll start with you. AC/DC.
Shit. So what exactly am I saying here?
You're saying whatever your favorite record is by them, and if you want to explain why, you can, and if you just want to say, fuck it, this is the record I like,
Or fuck that band.
or fuck that band, I don't listen to that band.
Fuck that band.
You got nothing good to say about AC/DC?
I mean, like they're like the Breaking Benjamin of like early metal. Like it's just
I like that comparison.
there's nothing really special about it, but it's constantly on the radio. It's almost like they're almost like the eye rollers. Like there's nothing really technically abysmal about it, but it's so unspectacular that like I don't know, it's weird. Like you ever see a pair of titties that are just so unspectacular that like you didn't even tell your friends that you saw them? Like, at least, like, if they're ugly, like, you're like, dude, they fucking suck, man. They were down to their knees. Or if they're perfect, you're like, dude, they were the best things I've ever seen. But they're so average that, like, your friend's like, how'd your day go? You forget that you saw titties that day.
That's what listening to AC/DC
That's what listening to AC/DC is.
Okay, I like that answer.
All right.
More than 2 sentences, but I love that answer.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that Back in Black is my favorite record. Brian Johnson is a considerably better sing, yell, streamy guy than it's chilling out there on the couch. Cody's looking for his robot dick. He's way better than Bon Scott. With that said, I am so goddamn tired of the same 6 AC/DC songs that they play on the radio over and over again, to the point where if it comes on the radio, I'll turn it off as fast as I turn off Guns N' Roses and Pearl Jam. Like, I'm just so... You're giving me a shitty look right now.
I really like Guns N' Roses.
Oh, fuck Guns N' Roses.
I
Fuck
hate
you.
Guns N' Roses.
But, like, every time, check me out! I'm just like, God damn it. Can you play, like, Backseat Rhythm, or, like, Whole Lotta Rosie, or, goddamn, Giving the Dog a Bone? What do you do for money, honey? Like, some other song other than the same 5 fucking songs. So, That's how I feel about AC/DC. Like, I respect AC/DC and everything they did, but I'm fucking tired of it.
I will also say Back in Black is their best record. And basically, like Brandon just said, their B-sides
Way better.
way better. But they're not radio rock songs, which is why we hear the same 6 songs on the radio all the time. Next band, this will probably take a minute, but hopefully not. Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah. Favorite record is people are gonna. God, it's death. Really, being in a deathcore band has ruined subpar production for me, or like I can't appreciate gritty as much as like the next person. But I would say Kill is my favorite record. That record is so aggressive all the way throughout. It's fast the whole way through. It's just pissed. Corpse Grinder, their vocalist, sounds the best out of all the records on Kill. Specifically, like Make Them Suffer and Maniacal. Damn, that guy, like he spits. Like he's like at the time he was the only like really fast death metal vocalist. Like yelling with that sort of power, like you're basically like Busta Rhymes at that point. And love that band, and I would say Kill is my favorite record because the production's awesome and because Corpse Grinder is a fucking monster.
Brandon.
Fuck. Okay, so
We're going Cannibal Corpse.
I know very little, honestly, about Cannibal Corpse. I know that their bass player is one of the better bass players on the earth. Alex Webster, I believe, is his name.
Mm-hmm.
He's great. Like, I've heard stuff that he's done. Like, the little bit I've listened to, I thought, you know, for a metal bassist and a death metal bassist at that, this guy is top notch. However, I don't want to hear their music ever again. It makes me sad, and I don't like it. So, with the exception of, I know Corpse Grinder Fisher is like a technically a good vocalist for what he does and all, but I don't want to fucking listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the most respect humanly possible for a death metal band, fuck that band. It's the most polite fuck that band that I can give.
You know, if you could get like the isolated bass tracks and mix it like not sounding like a bunch of clank and the drums, you'd basically have the most interesting jazz music ever.
Well, my choice is The Bleeding. It's my favorite Cannibal Corpse record. Kill is a great record. It's actually the first non-Barnes record that I enjoy. Why are you giving me that look?
God, I hate Chris Barnes. Fucking Monkey Man.
6 feet under is 6. Yeah, but that's what Cannibal Corpse is. And 6 feet under is still better than Cannibal Corpse has become.
I mean, it's just that Chris Barnes, like, God, I hate always talking about vocals, but Chris Barnes, like, there's just no monster to it. It's just all this air coming out, and it's like a low pitch air, but there's not enough grit there for it to sound good.
I'm still just stuck on the monkey noises you were making.
Dude, he sounds like a goddamn gorilla. Like, it's just like a silverback with dreadlocks who's really small and got kicked out of his pride. Just formed a band.
Anyway.
Just full fisted of a 58.
The Bleeding's my favorite record. All their records are solid. Kill is another solid record. I don't listen to as much Cannibal Corpse as I honestly should. I probably jam it twice a month. And it's probably 4 songs twice a month.
Really, that's just because they're so over the top. Like, it's almost like you can't listen to Cannibal Corpse every day. They're so over the top. Like, you do it, and then it's just like, okay, I'm good for like 3 weeks.
Brandon, you start the next one. It's Dance Gavin Dance.
Fuck that band. Mega fuck that band. Okay, so Johnny Craig is a mildly talented, colossal piece of shit. My hatred for Johnny Craig is far and wide and well known. Fuck him in his stupid ginger face. Fuck slaves. Fuck everything he did. Like he was alright in Amorosa for a minute, except like he held them back, and that's evident by the fact that their new vocalist and their new album is so much better than anything they've ever done. It makes me sad that Tillian Pearson is wasting his time in Dance Gavin Dance, because he's so much better than that, and like there's all this shitty blood between him and Tides of Man, which is depressing because they are an incredible group of people together. But there is nothing fucking salvageable about any Dance Gavin Dance song. There is rap and screamo and like normally progressive weirdness and like complicated mixtures of genres. Like I like Maximum the Hormone, like it, and that's a different genre every 32 bars. Like I like weird shit, and Dance Gavin Dance is the worst fucking band to get the kind of recognition that they get. I don't get it. I don't like it. Fuck them in the face. I hope Tillian finds something better. That's it. Like just fuck them. They're bad.
Kody?
I love Dance Gavin Dance. I love Dance Gavin Dance. Johnny Craig, like you said, is definitely a piece of shit. I think what he did for the genre is that he brought that like soulful singing, and no one ever really heard that before. But no one really understood that it took such like a mild level of talent. Like, cool, you can move your voice up and down. You know,
he just mumbles through shit.
Yeah, he just mumbles through shit. I mean, it's cool, but it hadn't been done before. Like when Downtown Battle Mountain came out and everyone blew up about it, like it was because no one had ever heard anything like that. And Johnny Craig had a really good range.
Approximately. What year would you say that was?
Shit, like 2006 or 7?
Okay, see, at that time, I was listening to Thrice, which I still listen to Thrice, don't get me wrong, I never stopped listening to Thrice, but like, I was into like Thrice and Muse and like, not that.
Yeah. I think that their random weirdness with their genres and how they write the songs, honestly, that's kind of what makes it interesting for me. But you're also talking to a dude who loves Tony Danza. Tap Dance Tony Danza.
Tony Danza is tight, though.
Yeah, Tony Danza is tight. And, like, I feel like what Danza kind of does is what is kind of like what in that genre Dance Gavin Dance is doing. And I think that's probably another reason, like, I like them. Like, hell, I even, like, you guys are going to laugh, but I like I Wrestled the Bear once just because they're so weird. I Wrestled the Bear once. They're so weird.
But
I
can't get into it.
I don't like their newer singer.
Yeah, you know, that's I haven't really paid attention since they lost the original. But yeah, I love Dance Gavin Dance. I feel like Johnny Craig became less interesting as time went on. Like, the more that he got into drugs and the bigger piece of shit he got, the less he cared about music. He was just like, I'm gonna do my best, really happy down, and rumble through my verse. And, like, nothing he really did was, like, catchy or interesting. Like, there were no hooks.
That's my biggest problem with him, is that he writes one really interesting part at the beginning, and then nothing. Like, it's just mumbly bullshit. The Past Should Stay Dead opens. It's the coolest fucking song.
Yeah.
It's huge. And what happens after that is just nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing happens.
And that's when he started, like, downfalling. And then he came back to Dance Gavin Dance for a couple records. Like, I even like the guy that was in between.
Kurt Travis?
Yeah, I liked him. I felt like his lyrics were weaker than Johnny's, but Johnny's were just kind of random. John Mess, who was their screamer through most of those records, he's the second vocalist. He stole the fucking show on that Downtown Battle Mountain Part 2 where Johnny Craig came back. Johnny Craig came back and just mumbled his way through the whole fucking album. And he just mumbled his way through the whole fucking album, and John Mess just came in. He was so much better than what he was when he was first in the band. He killed it. He was awesome. And kicked Johnny Craig's ass out of the band. You got Tillian in there. John Mess is just as good as he ever been. Dance Gavin Dance is just as weird. I love the new record that just came out. I play it for my son. I love listening to it. He likes listening to it. I like that band. I would say that, honestly, they've gotten better with time. I would say the newest record with Tillian is the best record, followed very closely by Downtown Battle Mountain.
I tried. I really did try for Tillian's sake. Couldn't do it.
I mean, it's cool, man. I mean, we obviously, like, all three of us have extremely different tastes.
That's why this game's fun.
I have seen Dance Gavin Dance 5 times. They have never stood out to me.
I flipped them off once. I told you that.
Yes.
That was great.
They don't warrant a fuck that band, but all 5 times that I saw them, I did end up sitting down somewhere to finish watching them, and pretty much either played on my phone or smoked a cigarette somewhere where I could still hear them. But they're not quite a fuck that band. It's just not a band that I listen to.
You see, I think that might be another thing that probably would change my opinion of them, is that I was supposed to see them live, but I got there late, and I got to see Circus Survive, which was fucking awesome. But
that's another disagreement.
Yeah. Circus Survive was great, but I missed Dance Gavin Dance. I'd never seen them.
I finished, so in the Warped Tour they had the side-by-side amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs played on one end, and I had to see that at least once, and then 10 seconds after their set, Dance Gavin Dance wants to start. Johnny Craig runs up to the front of the stage and talking a bunch of shit. I'm just flipping him off with both hands, like removing my middle finger on one hand to grab my dick and shake it at him. And it pissed him off so bad that he called me out from the stage. And I'm just like shaking both middle fingers at him. Like, I ruined his whole day, and it was so great. I fucking hate that band.
Yeah, I feel like Johnny Craig just ruined the whole experience. Like, I feel like that whole thing just like fucked any goodness.
See, I didn't even know Johnny Craig was in Dance Gavin Dance until he was already out of Dance Gavin Dance.
I'd never heard of him.
Because the reason that I had known him was that Jonas, who plays guitar in Amorosa, is the original guitar player from Sea of Treachery and used to live up here.
Yeah.
And that's how I...
Amorosa was like a Cincinnati Dayton band for a minute, weren't they?
No, they've always been a Lexington band.
They came up here and played with their old vocalist a lot.
A lot, yeah. Because their old vocalist is from Dayton, maybe? He used to sing in Mary Cries... Or maybe not Mary Cries Red, but it was something with Mary and Red in it. Mary Cries Red is an actual local metalcore band. But it was a different band.
I don't know. We're getting old. What
Yeah.
else you got?
Well, I'm going to start this one, and I'm going to start it very easily and quickly. Pink Floyd. Fuck that band.
Fuck you. I was wearing my Dark Side of the Moon t-shirt yesterday.
If I had to pick a record, that just simply because of the song Money, but...
Look, Dark Side of the Moon's a masterpiece. Anybody who says otherwise is a fucking retard. The Wall is obviously a cinematic masterpiece. It's a really fucked up movie. If I had to pick an album, it's Wish You Were Here, because it's got, like, if you ask me about Zeppelin, I'm going to say Houses of the Holy, and I really can't explain why. It's just that it felt different, and that's what Wish You Were Here was. Have a Cigar, Welcome to the Machine, great songs. I love Dark Side of the Moon. I love Parts of the Wall, but it's going to be Wish You Were Here. I learned how to play guitar listening to Dave Gilmour. That's my shit when it comes to lead guitar. It's a little dated. It's a little hard for me to listen to anymore because I'm in metal mode for the last 5 years, but I do love Pink Floyd. You're an idiot. You just don't understand it. Fuck you. Pink Floyd rocks.
I give a very unenthusiastic fuck that band because I don't really necessarily hate them. It's just that I would much rather listen to Rush.
Different animals.
I mean, they're different animals, but like
Different
the
animals.
same time frame though.
Okay,
God.
maybe I should retract my fuck that band. Because I would rather listen to Pink Floyd the rest of my life than ever have to listen to a Rush song ever again.
See, there goes Q being offended by musicians that can actually play their instruments.
Musicians that don't know how to write songs, only opuses, and no song should be longer than 2 minutes ever.
Yeah, well, you're a dick. Fuck you.
You know, not every song has to last as long as you do in bed.
Oh!
Yeah, sorry.
Man, I wish I could last 2 minutes.
Dude, she might come like half a time.
No, I mean, like, I wish I could last 2 minutes. Like, usually I last 30 seconds.
Dude, champ, you got like 1/8 of the way there.
Alright.
That's horrible math.
What else you got?
We're going to do, I think, 3 more before we get on to the knot. Let's do this one because it should be just weird, fun, and quick. Smash Mouth.
Dude, who fucking said that? Who said Smash Mouth?
Mitch from Gamara.
Man, fuck it, that's a joke.
Bush You Mang would be my favorite Smash Mouth record.
I don't even know the name. Something Lounge.
Space Lounge.
Space Lounge. That's the only... I know like 3 fucking Smash Mouth songs. I don't give a shit about Smash Mouth. I'm not even gonna say fuck that band. It's not even worth a fuck that band. Why the fuck is that band on here?
I don't know,
It's a
but
fucking-
he posted some really weird shit because Mitch... I don't know who Silosis is.
Oh shit, that sounds familiar. This is metal.
Slayer, we will probably actually do an argument because I'm sure Brandon will say fuck Slayer.
Fuck Slayer.
And,
Mega fuck Slayer. Worst band of the big
Sugar
four.
Cult would be fun, but I can't remember what any of their records are actually
They all
called.
sound the same, so it doesn't matter.
No, all 3 of them are different. The first one's a shitty pop punk record. The second one's a shitty new metal pop punk record, like Die
What,
Trying.
did you really just say new metal pop punk?
Yeah, it's like that Die Trying / Papa Roach nonsense.
We're talking about Sugar Cult.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Like,
Hey, what?
this is what I want.
I have an
Like,
opinion on Smash Mouth.
Okay, cool.
I was only 9 years old. I loved Shrek so much. I had all the merchandise from movies. I I pray to Shrek every night before bed, thanking him for the life I have been given. Shrek is love, I say. Shrek is life. My dad hears me and calls me a faggot. I knew he was just jealous of my devotion for Shrek. I called him a cunt. He slaps me and sends me to go to sleep. I'm crying now. My face really hurts. I lay in bed and it's really cold. A warmth moving towards me. A warmth is moving towards me. I feel something touch me. It's Shrek. I was so happy. He whispers in my ear, "This is my swamp." He grabs me with his powerful ogre hands and puts me on my hands and knees. I am ready. I spread my ass cheeks for Shrek. He penetrates my butthole. It hurts so much, but I do it for Shrek. I can feel my butt tearing as my eyes start to water. I push against his force. I want to please Shrek. He roars a mighty roar, and as he fills my butt with his love, my dad walks in. Shrek looks at him straight in the eye and says, "It's all ogre now." Shrek leaves through my window. Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
The fuck does that have to do with Smash Mouth?
Yeah, that's lyrics to Rockstar, actually.
Gotcha.
Like if you play it backwards, that's what it says.
I can't believe you've never heard that, dude.
I've
Give it
never
up for
heard that.
Shrek thing. The Requiem opens their set with it.
Really?
Yeah, every time.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why do I not go to every Requiem show ever?
They
Well,
play
they
that.
only play it once every 2 months.
Yeah, but the last shit they did at Q-Palooza.
Did they?
You were probably outside smoking or something
Probably.
because I remember Pat had to unlock his phone so I could do it. Who gives a flying fuck about Smash Mouth? Moving
Okay,
on.
we'll do one more and then Slipknot then because, yeah.
Please
Well,
don't.
actually, Zach Prost would like to hear Brandon talk shit about the Ghost Inside real quick.
Oh my god. Fucking friendships and creatine? No. Fuck them. I've seen them live now. I had to, because I saw, what was it, Every Time I Die?
Yeah, every time I die.
I sat through that bullshit just to hear Every Time I Die. And like, I couldn't even handle how dumb it was. Every song was the same. They were all bad. And there was too many cut-off t-shirts and fucking snapback trucker hats. And just assholes. Every last one of them. I don't care if Virgil's your buddy or whatever. The music sucks fucking cock. Like, it's like a 9-year-old wrote hardcore and drop B. That's the Ghost Inside. Their songs are pathetic. They have the same appeal as one of those fucking posters you saw in the office at school of like the sailboat that says like, "You can achieve the thing." That's a Ghost Inside song. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Fuck them. You're the best. Breakdown. Over and over again.
How do you feel about the Ghost Inside, Cody?
Meh.
Like I give this passionate thing, man.
Yeah, it's
Honestly, I'm going to put the Ghost
Yeah.
Inside in the same kind of category with A Day to Remember and the story so far as they're a band that I can realize are completely untalented. Honestly, even though I am a vocalist, I don't really focus on lyrics in other bands that much unless they're straight up hardcore bands. Which Ghost Inside is not a hardcore band, no matter how much they want
You
everyone
can
to believe
be
they are
in
hardcore.
a certain time. But I refuse. I'm making fun of Q's old band.
Like they got
You're making fun of it. You like that.
I loved your old band.
Anyways,
I loved that.
so the Ghost Inside, it totally gets stuck in my head. I haven't heard the new record. I've listened to the new record, but only because Brandon actually made me listen to the song on the new record that is Thrice's Silhouette Part 2.
it's literally note for note. Pathetic.
But anyway, so that's the Ghost Inside. So the band that we really do need to shortly argue and not really argue. But what's the best Limp Bizkit record?
Chocolate Starfish, duh.
$3 Billy Y'all.
Chocolate Starfish.
God, those are the worst lyrics of everything Fred has ever written.
Ben Stiller, you are my favorite motherfucker.
Dude, it's fucking Fred Durst. Like, everything he does is bad, but it's so bad it's good. like, besides that shit that they put out on Young Money Records, Limp Bizkit is like the equivalent of like the Evil Dead series.
So
To
bad
metal.
and so good.
So bad, but it's just so good. Fred Durst is Bruce Campbell. Like, they are the same person.
Cody, you need to seriously write analogies for the entire world.
You should write down a book of this shit. When you think of it, like you should start a podcast of just like iPhone recordings as you're driving, and like I'll compile it later, like after the fact, and you can literally just give me like 15 audio files of like getting a $1.50 tip on a 7 pizza order. It's like a bad hand job that never got finished. Like, yeah, it was cool, but like, fucking, what's the point? And in the background, you hear Limp Bizkit playing or some shit. Like, I'm just, I'm trying here, but like, you should really consider writing a book, a coffee table book, or perhaps making your own podcast.
I would say Chocolate Starfish for me, though, is my least favorite.
Oh, fuck you.
Because Golden Cobra's great.
You probably like that shit he put out on Young Money.
I don't know.
That was Gold Cobra.
Oh,
that's Gold Cobra?
Man, that record's the bomb.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh,
it's
God,
almost as good as $3 Bill Y'all.
Okay.
It's almost as good as $3 Bill Y'all.
What record has, if I say fuck 2 more times, that'll be 46 fucks in this fucked up rhyme?
Chocolate Starfish.
Is that on Chocolate Starfish?
Yeah. That's Hot Dog.
That's
a song called fucking Hot Dog. It's fucking stupid. Rolling is on that fucking record.
Which
it's
is
a fucked
fantastic.
up world. It's a fucked up place. Everybody's known by their fucked up face.
The best song on Chocolate Starfish. The best song on Chocolate Starfish is "Stop Writing Checks That Your Ass Can't Cash."
God, it's so bad.
I'm gonna listen to so much Limp Bizkit tomorrow.
Okay, so let's get to the main chunk of this best record segment and what Kody wants to talk about, which is Slipknot.
Everybody's first metal band to scare their parents.
I don't see how we could argue what's the best record, especially since me and Brandon kind of talked about it. But so I'm going to ask you first, Kody. What is your favorite Slipknot record?
Iowa.
That's what I expected.
That is what I expected too, but only because of your age.
Honestly, like it's probably really close between Iowa and the self-titled.
Okay, well, mine's the self-titled, and I think Iowa is a half of a step down from the self-titled. So if you want to go the other way, I completely understand.
Yeah, I feel like Iowa. I feel like Iowa is a half a step up from the self-titled.
The biggest thing for me that I will, and this will be my only argument towards it, is there's 2 songs off Iowa I can't fucking stand, and I love every single song off self-titled. Because New Abortion is the worst fucking Slipknot song ever written. And it's not lyrically the worst. That just stupid fucking...
Like I could honestly, I can definitely say where you're coming from, but like I feel like I'm pressing skip more on. I feel like I'm pressing skip on the self-titled more than I should.
And honestly, like I would say that I might, again, not trying to pull that thing, but if I was seeing self-titled not when it had first came out, I might have hit skip more. But instead, I popped that CD in. It was probably like the 30th CD I ever bought, because I got a CD player in 97 and that record came out in 99.
Well, didn't everyone have a CD player by like 95?
No.
I don't know, man.
I was still listening to records, cassettes, and I was like busting out my dad's 8-track player.
I want to say I was like 6 or 7 when I got my first Walkman. No. Yeah, not a
Walkman or Discman?
And I had a Walkman, and I used that forever, and eventually my mother was one of those, like, you pay $5 and they send you a bunch of CDs, and I got my first Third Eye Blind record, which I still have. So I had CDs when I was like 7 or 8, and I want to say my dad got me like this big-ass stereo.
Okay, well, how old were you in 99?
Don't ask me to do math.
What year were you born?
1992.
Okay, so you were 7. You were 10?
Yeah.
When that first major label Slipknot record.
Like I didn't hear about Slipknot until I was like 14, 15.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
maybe
kinda,
13, 14.
I'm kind of the same way. Like, I didn't really listen to Slipknot until, like, the first song I ever heard by Slipknot was actually Duality.
Okay.
See, I heard Wait and Bleed, which I still love to this day. It's a great song. And then, in, like, the same breath, my buddy... Remember music videos? Remember, like, music videos were a thing?
Yeah.
Like, that's how you heard music. There was no Spotify or Facebook, fucking MySpace, none of that.
Or lyric videos.
Exactly. You had to go and find the actual official music video on their website, or their label's website.
Or you would sit and watch MTV and pray was the next one that came on.
Which was definitely not Slipknot in that case.
Yeah, MTV too.
Oh yeah, the Headbangers Ball.
Oh, dude, we had Fuse TV back then.
Yes, we did.
Oh,
It's
God.
still around. I just found that out the other day.
Fuse TV didn't, like, die?
No.
I don't even know. Is it on TV though?
I figure since Victory Records blew their load and wasn't throwing them a bunch of money, Fuse TV just like
No, they're still there.
So I remember watching the Wait and Bleed video, which is a performance video where a bunch of them beat the shit out of each other on stage. And like 8 seconds after that was done, he clicked on the next link and it was Left Behind. So like, my experience with Slipknot was to listen to both of those records at the same time. So I don't have the which one I heard first. I heard them both in the same day. And I liked anything with singing in it because I wasn't into metal at the time. And look, Self-Titled has the best song they've ever written,
Which is
Left Behind, or not Left Behind, fucking Wait and Bleed. It's just brilliant. I love that fucking song. My favorite Slipknot song. It was the first one I've ever heard, and there's a good reason
What's
for
funny
it.
is you're talking about the video, and the video had a completely different version of that song
I
than
know.
the record, and that song for the video sucked nuts.
It did.
Because all he does is clean vocals like half the time.
But I will say that Iowa is a better record. It's
Cleaner and more polished.
well, there's that, sure, but it just everything, even the parts of it that annoy you, like that sick thing. The whole thing I think is sick, repeated like fucking forever.
Yeah.
It was to set a scene, and no one does this shit anymore, by the way.
Well, they try to.
Yeah, they were creating an atmosphere, and every piece of that record was absolutely necessary. So that one song that you fucking hate on that record, it was probably done that way for a reason.
Yeah, and it was also stupid because they used it as their first single from that record.
No, see, I heard Left Behind.
And here's the thing, like you're telling your, and then obviously Kody will tell his, but like here's my first experience with Slipknot. Go to Camelot Music in the spring of '99, and they're giving out the free promotional tapes that Roadrunner sends out to all the record stores at the time. Which Camelot Music isn't there anymore. It was across from the Tri-County Mall, and anyone over the age of probably 27, 28 at this point probably went to that place or a place like that to get their musical types of places. Anyways, we went there. I think like 30 of the kids that I hung out with, like we weren't all at the same high school, but we all hung out together. Got that same demo tape. On one side it had Wait and Bleed, on the other side it had Surfacing. Every single one of us listened to that tape with just 2 songs 30 times a day for the next 3 months before all 30 of us packed in 6 different cars to drive up to Columbus to go to Ozfest to see Slipknot. And then we all got there and we all waited till the end of the day because you don't want to get your stuff smashed. Bought the Slipknot self-titled record, took it home, and listened to the CD front to back, front to back, front to back. And when Iowa came out, I did really like that record. And New Abortion, I think the last song with the record, are the only 2 that I don't like. And I will say, at the time when it came out, I really hated Left Behind. Because it's such
A song?
a
It's a
single.
song? Yeah, sorry. They had to sell records.
It goes against everything that they were trying to say at the time, in my opinion.
That riff is pretty gross.
It's not that gross.
Okay.
Papa Roach could have wrote it.
No. Okay, so I will raise a point. Is there a lyric nastier on the earth than the intro to Disaster Pieces?
I don't know. What's the intro?
Really? You guys are thinking about this?
What's the intro to Disaster Pieces?
I'm quoting Mr. Corey Taylor. This is not a thought that happened in my head. He put it there. I want to slit your throat and fuck the wound. Push my face in, feel some
I mean,
gibberish.
granted, it's 2 years later, but what about Blood for Blood?
Hold on.
So common, so cheap.
I don't know what that is.
Fucking your pussy was like fucking the wound from a shotgun blast with Galen Green. It's pretty close to just as gross.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. Just you open a song with a lyric like that, it sets a tone.
I would say, honestly, if you actually look at it, there's probably several other bands, including if you actually read some of Behemoth's lyrics.
Behemoth doesn't really do the gore thing.
It's
That's more
not
like Cannibal
gory,
Corpse.
but I mean, like, I would say some of their stuff is gross.
I feel like there's stuff that's good, that's like crossed the line farther. Like, I feel like...
Everything Cattle Decapitation writes about.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about, like, gross. I'm talking about, like, sticking with you. Because, yeah, the opening line is just... It's so in your face. But I don't feel like there's enough of an emotional connotation there for it to really be, like... Like, we talking about something that makes you cringe or something that, like, makes you go, ooh.
I don't know. Personally, I heard that for the first time, and I like took my headphones off and just like set them down. Like I need a moment to process what the fuck I just heard.
Yeah, I mean, I've got gigantic influence from Kody Hale. So like, hell, even like the new metal shit I was writing, like the first word to this was like, the first like rhyme to this was like, I want to fuck every AIDS patient just to feel danger, Russian roulette with a round in every chamber. Like, that's the type of shit that, like, I drew from Kody Hale, and I think that lines like that were in Disaster Pieces were where a lot of vocalists get their ability to write lyrics. That's where they get that idea, you know?
And then on Subliminal Verses, he was challenged by a critic to get through an entire record without swearing. So he did. Now, granted, the production of that record is a nightmare. Or, honestly, the production of every record is a nightmare. But Iowa probably stands up the best because it's supposed to be annoying and poorly mixed, but in a weirdly polished, shitty way.
Okay, so how do you actually feel about Volume 3?
What's with the goddamn guitar solos? They don't make any sense. That I was reading an interview forever ago, and they said that like each of the guitar solos is cut in half on the final record, and they don't make any sense. It's just them playing as fast as they can. Like it might as well be a Slayer solo. It's just staticky, shitty noise. Like,
yeah.
They were basically just saying, hey, look, we know we made pretending to be bad at guitar really cool. Now we're going to pretend like we can play lead guitar. And it just sucked. Like, I liked it at the time. It was a really good record. There's a lot of really cool, like, percussive, not necessarily the drumming, because I absolutely hate Joey Jordison in his two speeds, fast and faster. But the rhythmic layout to a lot of it's really fun. It's not Iowa, and it's not self-titled. And, I mean, honestly, anything after Subliminal Verses can eat a bag of shit. Like, we were having that conversation on the ride back. Like,
All Hope Is Gone is... I don't understand it. That's honestly, like, I'm not going to say it sucks, because there are songs off of it that I listen to. Well, I don't understand it, because... half that record is Stone Sour, and the other half is let's take what we can from metalcore and add that to a Slipknot song.
Yeah, and it's definitely the truth. I mean, like, it's still Slipknot. If you're a Slipknot fan, you're gonna listen to it. I mean, they're another one of those like Metallica bands. You know, everyone knows who they are, and if you're a fan, you like everything they put out. And there's nothing that Slipknot's done that I hate, and they're definitely one of the most influential bands to me as a musician. But I did not like the Grey Chapter. I was so let down by it.
Is that the new one?
Yeah, the new one.
I think I've only heard the single off of it.
It let me down, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't unlistenable. It just what I was expecting and what it actually was just two different things.
I will say though, Jay Weinberg is a massive improvement in the drum department.
Oh yeah,
it still sounds like Slipknot, which is hilarious. They're still using the same bad triggered samples for the drums and everything, but at least the blast beats are on time.
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing I did notice in the 3 songs I listened to from the Grey Chapter was the drums, though they still sound like total shit mix-wise, are played much better.
Shit. Getting late for bedtime. Yeah, for definitely. God damn it. Subliminal Verses is actually the first record that I heard by them. I remember, I had just gotten my first instrument. I got it like Father's Day. I think I was like 12 or 13. And Fuse TV came on. Like I was still like messing around with my bass. Fuse TV came on, and I was just like, it was just that. I push my fingers into my. And I stopped. I watched it. I watched the whole video, and I waited like 3 hours for it to come back on. Because I forgot to write down the name of the band that played it. And then, I found out who the band was. Next day, I got on the computer, pulled some of their music, burned it all into a CD so I could listen to it. And it was like It was like discovering your dad's porn stash. Like, it was just like you liked your dad. Your dad was your dad was your dad. But then you found out that you jack off to the same thing. It was just the next level. There I go with my fucking analogies. Q went outside to smoke, and he's so confused right now.
No, I totally grasp what you're saying.
Yeah, it was.
By the way, was that just like 2 drags and run?
No, I actually just peed.
Oh.
There's a fucking bathroom in here. God damn it, you sick fucking
This
animal.
is fucking ready.
Look, man,
Pee outside.
I pee behind my own shed like once a month.
But that's your shed. It's not Q's shed.
Man, he might as well live here.
Okay,
Did
but
you at least go behind the shed or just go behind
No,
the
I
house? Right
you
there.
pissed on my fucking car, probably.
Yeah, I pissed on Cody's car.
Did you pee on the side of my house
Yeah.
instead of the back of my house?
Wait,
I hope some 12-year-old over at that fucking Section 8 apartment complex saw your dick.
man, that's not
I
even
hope
Section
so.
8. They're like Section 6.
You're going to jail forever.
You're going to jail forever, and they're going to sue you and take the $2 you have in your bank account.
So wait,
Man, I got $1.30.
this side right here where the cars are parked, or back there behind the actual?
Back there.
Okay,
I
behind
consider
the
that the
house.
side of your house. Your front door's right here.
But
He
no,
was exposing himself to children, is what this boils down to.
he's actually exposing himself to the stray cats that hang out in my backyard. But
Same thing.
children, yes.
Anyways, finish your porn stash.
Yeah, but it was just like finding like their old records was just like, it was incredible. And that really opened up the doors to me to a lot of bands. Like, I was able to actually listen to Under Oath, which I had heard, and I was just like, this shit's garbage. And then, but I listened to Slipknot, and I was just like, wow, this is tight. I gave Under Oath a chance again, loved Under Oath, and then it just expanded, and then I found Job for a Cowboy, which led me to Cannibal Corpse, which all tumbled into just becoming this gigantic fan of metal, going to shows every goddamn weekend when I was in high school, and then I became a dad.
I don't know. I just think that overall, Iowa's the better record, even though the self-titled probably meant more to me.
I feel the
I'm
the
not going
good
to say
songs.
which is the better record. I'm just going to say self-titled is my personal favorite record.
I feel like the self-titled had songs that were better than the songs on Iowa, but as a whole, Iowa was still better.
And
I
here-
think that's really what.
Here's the one thing that I have to say, because it is different, and especially since you guys are younger. Which copy of the self-titled do you have? Do you have the one with Me Inside on it, which I don't really care for that song, or the original copy with Purity on it?
Original copy of Purity.
Because Purity is one of my favorite songs, and for some reason with the reissue, they take it off the fucking record.
Yeah, I don't think I know the difference.
Okay.
Like, here's the thing about Slipknot: if it's not a single, it's just noise to me. Like, it's background noise. Like, I put it on, I'm like, oh, this is mean and shitty and fucking. It's the sound of a bunch of middle-aged, pissed-off rednecks and dirty, stinky masks making the worst noise possible. And it's a point before I forget is that it's really interesting how they went from like the face of counterculture to like old guys being like, yeah, Slipknot, that's that tough guy band, right? And what's funny is that they're just not. Like, you compare them to the death metal we have now and stuff. What do you even call Slipknot? They're a metal band, sure. But for the most part, they're new metal. Yeah, plenty new metal. But drums-wise, speed metal all the way through.
Yeah.
But the vocal doesn't match that. They're their own thing, and you can't mistake it for anything in the world unless it's the last 2 records and you're mistaking it for Stone Sour.
Steamy pile of shit.
Yeah, there's that too.
Sorry, I'm kidding. I like I said, I'm Slipknot fan. I like those records, but it's just, God, it was a letdown.
For me, it was.
Seen Slipknot, you should still, even at this juncture, still see Slipknot.
Yes,
I
please,
still
for the
have
love of
not.
God, see Slipknot.
I've not seen them live. I've not had a good reason.
It's just one of those things you have to do, like acid and sex. Like, you have to do it. You have to do both of those things.
I've not done acid.
Not acid.
Shit, that's one of my first analogies that no one got. I guess.
Well, it might work for a lot of other people. It's not.
Acid and sex is 2 life experiences that you really need to have in your life.
Yeah, I'll go the rest of my life without that one. But.
I mean, you could have like mind transcending sex. Am I right? I'm talking to those women.
She's not listening to you.
She's not.
She's probably watching some shit on Netflix or playing
Either that
Bubble
or she's
Breaker.
mad that Brandon's not paying attention.
Oh,
maybe. So yeah, I think Iowa's a better record. They run together for me.
Even though Subliminal Verses is more, it's more radio friendly. It's still Slipknot, and seeing a band do something like that, where it's still them, but it's definitely radio friendly, and it's obvious that like they want to sell records and they want to grow. That's still really impressive. Another band that did something very similar was Bring Me the Horizon. They started deathcore, and then they became this weird groove thing that was kind of ahead of its time, but not really. If you would actually listen to Bury Your Dead, it's the same fucking riffs. But then they put out that Sempiternal album, and that shit could be played on the radio with a little bit of editing. Like, I mean,
That's Sempiternal. I hated Bring Me the Horizon, especially from the first two EP and the first two records. But Sempiternal is a great record. But I could at least here in Cincinnati or in Dayton, it's not going to be on the radio. If you go out to California, where they play with Mice and Men and other different stuff, like Every Time I Die is played on the record or on the radio out in California,
Which is amazing.
So I mean, like, yes, I could see it being out there, but here in Cincinnati, I don't see Bring the Horizon songs as radio songs.
I don't know, but it's just like
that Drown's a radio song. That's like a
version.
It's a couple. Well, the video version and the radio version. I heard it on the radio. I thought it was 30 Seconds to Mars until I realized it was Drown.
Maybe I haven't heard the real version because I've only heard the acoustic version.
Yeah. It was okay.
But yeah, just being able to keep your identity, but being able to change your sound is just, it's really cool and it's really important. Like you guys talked about Atreyu last time. Atreyu is one of those bands that really lost their identity as they went along. Like they stopped being Atreyu and they just wanted to sell records.
I didn't really see it that way so much as a development. And then they wrote their best attempt at a pop record. And I think they wrote a pop record because that shit sucker John Feldman produced it.
Yeah.
Lead Sales would have been completely different if
think,
like Steve Evans got a hold of it.
I think if you want to talk about a band that completely lost their identity, is the band that you guys clearly are influenced by the most because you took a song title from their band.
Oh, son of a
band
bitch!
Sevenfold, man.
I'm not in that band anymore. God damn it, Q.
The disappointment is so.
Well, I don't remember you being in the band Sevenfold, but
yeah, that's a band that definitely lost their identity. Like they don't even write like even City of Evil. Like you had those dueling guitars. It sounded
there's
evil.
still plenty of metalcore elements in City of Evil.
And then they put out these others, like the record that just came out, Hail to the King. That sounds like someone watered down Metallica and then just played it.
Really? I think it sounds like dead on Guns N' Roses, which is why it sucks balls.
I don't know, man. There's a song that's literally the same as Sad But True.
Really?
This Means War.
I haven't heard anything off that record except for the single and maybe twice.
There's 3 singles off of it, and they're all shit.
Oh, I've only heard Hail to the King.
Yeah, well. It's not good. And
I really wish Roadrunner Records would have came after us and we would have blown up because a bunch of news articles would have got a hold of us. We're going to sue you and be like, well, actually, we've been around longer.
You know what's really fun? We've actually had this conversation before. My old band, Arlington, wrote a song called Hail to the King, Baby. Obviously all about Army of Darkness.
Yeah. Predating
Hail to the King by like a year or two. And so when this Avenged Sevenfold writes Hail to the King, everybody makes a big joke out of it, and you getting rightfully pissed off that no one can even find your music on the internet because nothing comes up but shitty butt rock. YouTube won't fucking do it, and everybody's laughing at you. I poked fun at you once. We had a laugh.
Yeah.
But, those words were strung together by us in, 2008.
Yeah,
and it's funny.
Yeah, there's no, it wasn't, it wasn't because, I thought we thought we were super duper original for taking a quote from a movie that we were watching when we were just trying to find a band name. We weren't pissed about that. It's just that we were pissed that it got as big as it did, and we were pissed that everything that we'd worked for had gone to shit because of it. You can attribute a good amount of the following has kind of died down to that, Dynasties would have sold a lot more. Nomicon would have been much bigger than what it was. And it was all because fucking Avenged Sevenfold.
And their shitty butt rock.
And their shitty butt rock. And their dumbass fans.
It's okay. Yours isn't the only life they've
Who else is right life that they ruined?
ruined. Anyone that's ever listened to their music. Past City of Evil.
Look, I don't even like City of Evil.
Q tried really hard to be funny right there, in case anyone was wondering.
Waking the Fallen was a good record.
Waking the Fallen's a great record, and even though you disagree with me, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet is also a great
It's
record.
a mess. But
You guys saw. I've already listened to this episode of the podcast. Let's fast forward here.
Wait, we already argued this?
Yeah, you guys already talked about Avenged Sevenfold.
Did we?
Yeah,
Alright.
episode. I think it's episode 2. I think. Yeah, you guys talked about it because you were talking about Atreyu because they live right next door to each other. Like
Oh,
Q
right,
said
right,
9
right.
times.
Alright, good point. Shit.
Okay. Well, I guess then.
Well, that wraps up Slipknot, but unless you have any parting points about Slipknot, Corey Taylor's God. If he and Dave Grohl could, do the fusion dance,
The best
that'd
Corey
take over the
Taylor
world.
song, in my opinion, is his tribute to the Lynn Strait tribute. If anyone doesn't know who Lynn Strait is, he's the lead singer of Snot. He died in 98. If you don't listen to Snot, you don't really listen to new metal.
That heavy breathing was my comment on Slipknot. We can continue.
So, I know we're running along here mostly because we have special guests and shit, but I have a couple of worldly issues that I need to air out, much like you did last week. I saw an article today from one of those Duck Dynasty fucktards that said, paraphrasing, there is no such thing as an atheist. They don't exist. Because all people in the Western Hemisphere recognize the date as the date, which is based on Jesus' birthday. Therefore, we could not truly be atheists. And that the first sign of trouble, all atheists immediately look to God for supervision. This bearded fuckstick is telling me that I don't exist, that my decided lack of faith is just me being a shithead, essentially, and that since I recognize the date, that I must believe in God.
In case any of you are this retarded, BC does not stand for before Christ. AD does not stand for after death.
Nope.
The year 0 was not when Jesus Christ was put on a cross and crucified. For the love of God, you insufferable goddamn retards. You are poisoning the world. Stop. Anyways.
Actually, BC does mean before Christ, and AD does mean after death. That's why they switched it when they said "fuck Jesus" to BCE before Common Era and ACE after Common Era. Or sorry, CE.
I'm pretty sure
Common
AD
Era.
was like anti-Domingo or some shit, but whatever. But anyway,
Give me a second.
yeah, there's research being done. Anyway, this fucking moron, don't you talk to Siri. Don't you bring Siri into this.
Oh my god, am I really wrong on this? It's commonly thought. Oh, hold on. It is commonly thought that BC stands for before Christ, and AD stands for after death. This is only half correct. How could the year 1 BC have before Christ and AD be after death? Okay, BC does stand for before Christ. AD actually stands for the Latin phrase Anno Domini, which stands for in the year of our Lord. Okay,
Half wrong.
half wrong.
And I was like a quarter right for not
Okay,
having my
I'm sorry, insufferable retards, if I offended you. I was not 100% correct, therefore I was not warranted to go on.
Okay,
that
but the
tangent.
reason we all say BC and AD still has to do with the fact that popes killed a bunch of people and said, "Hey, this is what we're fucking saying."
Okay, this is straying off topic. I don't really give a shit about the fucking date, but this idiot is trying to make the point that clearly I must be a follower of Christ because I accept that the date is the date. We accept history as history because that's what we're fucking told.
Wait, wouldn't that make what is it, North or South Korea, where everything's fucked? It's North Korea, isn't it?
North Korea.
Yeah, wouldn't that make North Korea like atheists then? Because they started the year over like 60 some years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they're atheists.
But atheists don't exist. because when
So North Korea doesn't exist.
apparently
God
Cy
damn it,
Robinson can shove it up his bearded ass, North Korea doesn't exist. And this whole thing, we can get into this guy's a moron and religious this and that debate, but it really brings me to a greater point. And this is I found this on a piece of graffiti on like Tumblr or Facebook or some shit, and I repost it every time I see it. Stop making stupid people famous. I live by this fucking motto. I'm gonna have it printed on a goddamn t-shirt. Like, think about the most like famous and wealthy people in the world right now. They're either wealthy because they're a greedy corporate fuckstick, or they're Donald fucking Trump or some shit who's a greedy fuckstick who happens to be a media personality. But like, you can pay Kim Kardashian $10,000 to make her send out a tweet about a product that you are endorsing, and people will eat that shit up. Like, Beats headphones are the biggest piece of shit because people got behind it. Like, celebrity is a frustrating fucking thing because some of the only people using it for any good are like Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson and shit like that. Everybody else fucking sucks. Stop making stupid people famous. You put these fake redneck fucks on television for like 3 goddamn seasons, and it wasn't until the oldest one of them started making fun of gay people that they tore it off the air. Same with Paula Deen. Oh, butter, blah, blah, I'm a fucking cook. And also, I think it'd be really cool if for my brother's wedding, we had a bunch of little black guys in short tuxedos and stuff to serve the food, just like the plantation. Oh, they ripped her dumb ass off TV. But they'll let them be dumb fucks up until they say something horribly offensive. But then they're still in the media. People are still talking about Paula Deen. People are still talking about Duck Dynasty. My phone auto-corrects if I say the word duck, the next thing in line is goddamn Dynasty. I've never used the words Duck Dynasty in my phone on purpose. Ever. But predictive text thinks it's going to happen because it feeds off of the internet. People are talking about Duck Dynasty to the point where my phone wants me to say Duck Dynasty. Fuck Duck Dynasty. Fuck all those goddamn retards. This guy is in the media saying that all people must believe in God because we accept the date. And because nobody is strong enough to make it through their day without relying on God or thanking God, or if they stub their toe, they don't blame God or some shit. Believe it or not, some of us make it through our entire day without thinking about religion. Fuck you, you stupid beardy shithead. Stop making stupid people famous. Like, Kim Kardashian sucked a dick and got pissed on, and she's famous. Are you fucking kidding me?
Wait, she got pissed off?
Yeah, it was in the sex tape. Ray J fucking pissed on her face, and that's why she's famous.
Who's Ray J?
Brandy's little brother.
Okay, I know who Brandy is, just because of Alicia, right?
God, you're old.
Stephen King's book, The Mist, and also the quote was in the movie too. But there is a quote where it's they're talking about humans and how like you put 2 humans in a room and start making up reasons to kill each other. And they say that's how you got religion. And Q brought this up briefly like last podcast where we just make up reasons where we want to like hate each other. Like it doesn't matter. Like we'll just take something and run with it. Really, I feel like in the past like maybe like 6 months, I feel like everyone has become a pussy. Everyone is getting offended about shit that really doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to go out and go on a limb here. Someone may get pissed at me. 2% of the population is homosexual. 2%. That is an extremely small demographic. Extremely small. And there's just this gigantic uproar and following where the Supreme Court overrules states that have voted not for it to be marriage. Where, and a lot of people miss the point with the whole gay marriage thing, where, well, it's marriage equality. Awesome, cool. But it's shit. I'm getting tired. We're at the point where I can't really like think. But it's marriage equality. That's awesome. But really, it wasn't. The marriage thing wasn't the problem, and I think a lot of people lost sight of that. It's the fact that the government, the separation between church and state, the government gave rights to people who are married. Like for instance, you're a homosexual couple. You go to New York, get married. You live in Ohio. You come back to Ohio. You decide you want to adopt a kid. Guess what? Ohio doesn't recognize your marriage legally. So when you go to adopt a kid, only one parent can be the guardian of that child you adopted. So
Which
if you
terrible.
Yeah, if you two ever get pissed at each other and decide you want to be together, sorry, you have no rights to your child.
And as a father, you clearly understand.
Yeah, I'd go to the courthouse and shoot the fucking place up. Anyways,
I think one of the deciding factors actually was the hospital thing.
Yeah, and that there's these rights that you get when you're married, and the second you did that, marriage no longer became a sacred union. It no longer became a tool of the church. It was used by the government. Separation of church and state. Therefore, the government has the right to say what marriage is, and that pissed everybody off. And that pissed all the Christians off. So if they would have just called it something different, but gave them the rights of being married, no one would have gotten pissed, and no one would have really cared.
I mean, somebody would have still.
Yeah,
fuck them. If you got that mad, I get it. You're allowed to have your beliefs. You're allowed to think that way. You can live in the woods and think that atheists don't exist. Awesome. We're in America for that fucking reason, so you can have that goddamn opinion, and no one can walk into your house and shoot you. I mean, go try live in the Middle East if you're a woman. If your face gets shown and you live in a place that's under, what is that, chakra law or something, some crazy shit?
I don't know the terms for it.
I remember early 2000s, you would see on TV all the time where they would take a woman whose face got exposed underneath the black thing that they wear, and they shot her in the middle of the streets. Just for that shit. Yeah. You live in America so that way you can have these crazy ideas. If you get shunned by society, that's cool, but you can't be killed for it because it's still manslaughter, it's still murder. You can have that guy, you can have that opinion. That's why we live in America. That's why we're the greatest country. I'm sorry. So I might offend someone there because honestly, I kind of want to go to Sweden. Anyways, we're a really good country to live in because of that. Because you can have those opinions, and there's no legal action that can be taken against you. I have really lost track of what I was trying to say here.
People are pussies.
Yeah, people are fucking pussies.
Everybody wants to find something to be upset about, and that's just. Information's at an all-time high.
At the same time, as much as everyone wants to find something to be upset about, and I thought this was where you were trying to go, was that nobody will state their own fucking opinion because everyone's scared that their opinion is going to offend somebody else, and then they're going to get ostracized and fucking kicked off television or kicked off their friend group or blah 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 blah.
Like for instance, the Jared guy from Subway.
I was getting there.
Yeah, the Jared guy from Subway. Nothing has been released to the public about him being involved with the child pornography thing. However, the police did have probable cause. Therefore, they raided his house. We haven't heard anything about it. So, honestly, it probably sounds like it's bad. But the way that the news worded it was sensationalism. All these dumbass people think that it's because he has child porn. When in all reality, all we know is that something came up where the FBI was just like, hey, we need to check this dude out.
You know what it was?
What?
Someone who had previously worked for his foundation, the Jared Foundation, whatever the fuck they do, probably something to do with childhood obesity. That guy got caught with child pornography, and they thought, well, clearly his boss was probably in on it too. We better check him out.
I don't think that's the connection. I feel like
that's what I've read.
I don't feel like a judge would give probable cause for that. That's like saying that that's like saying that someone works at Papa John's and deals marijuana, so therefore I'm a manager's in on it. That's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, well, everything I've read just said that because a former employee of his.
What?
I said that's probably what our manager does.
I mean, yeah, but that's also another thing. It's kind of besides the point. It's just that there had to be more probable cause there for them to get a warrant and to seize him and to take him into custody, because you're not going to be detained just because someone worked for you that had child pornography.
That's what I've read so far. But one thing I do know is that it pissed me off first thing this morning is that the news story going around said his house is searched, he's under accusations for this and this and this, and that's it. And everybody immediately jumps on fucking Facebook. Oh my God, Jared's a kitty diddler.
It's sensationalism.
Look, he's going to have to live with that shit the rest of his life, even if he's proven 1,000% innocent.
That's because good news doesn't go as far.
No, nobody hears good news anymore. It's swept under the rug entirely, unless it benefits millions of people.
Mm-hmm. When was it? Okay, here's a question I have, because this is honestly the only thing I saw about this today, which is going to sound stupid and dorky and whatnot. But anyways, when was the last time Jared was in a Subway commercial? Because I haven't seen him in a Subway commercial in at least 6 months.
He's still contracted to do shit. He's still their spokesman.
I
It's
don't
like,
do
when
TV.
was the last time you saw Ronald McDonald in a McDonald's commercial?
Well, I mean, that's the same
Yeah.
thing. But, like, so how come this today, just from this, knocked Subway's stock down 18 points?
Because
When it's been steady for the past 19 months.
because the general population is fucking retarded, and they don't know how to read. You know, when you get on social media and someone asks a question, obviously posted from their smartphone, and they ask like a question that could easily be answered, like, let me think here. What's the main ingredient in guacamole?
This actually, my girlfriend and I go back and forth when somebody texts us a question. Oh, we're going here. Cool. What's the address?
You have a fucking smartphone.
You have a computer in your pocket.
I'm pretty sure you can type in Q's house and it takes you to Q's house.
Yeah.
I think that Google knows that.
I actually found Q smoking and reading comic books on his front porch van seat fucking couch love seat thing on Google Maps. Like, Google Maps knows he's there. I have the screenshot, actually. It's fantastic. And this porch monkey motherfucker is just
That was
smoking
racist.
cigarettes.
That was racist.
Yo, man, you're not
I'm taking
bringing
it back, all right? And he was being a porch monkey, so fuck off.
It's not very monkeyish to me.
It's really
He's like a porch gorilla.
orangutan, whatever.
Yeah, more of a orangutan.
There's a picture of Q on Google Maps, all right? They know he exists. Don't be a dumb fuck. Do your research. Don't ask stupid questions. Don't post stupid shit on Facebook because you've seen an article. Oh no, fucking Carrie Fisher from Star Wars probably has fucking ovular cancer. Better repost that shit before I do any research or think about it whatsoever. Like,
How do people repost these articles without like questioning their
or
source?
even opening the goddamn article. They share when they see the headline.
Usually when I share stuff, it's because I think it's funny and satirical.
Yeah, the internet's blown up with Jared from Subway got caught with child pornography, and that is not the facts.
And he received it. Let's start this rumor. And he received it from Jake from Front Porch Step.
Come on now. Point is, don't feed into sensationalist crap. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, I want to punch Geraldo Rivera right in his fucking mustache because he's the king of that shit, and it's fucking frustrating. Like, Facebook was abuzz with this news story, and we don't even know that it's a news story. It's not even proven to be true yet. Like, what happened to due process and like innocent until proven guilty? Because I'll tell you this shit. If the government fucking turned Q's house upside down, and among the fucking dirt and the grime and the bullshit, they are under the suspicion that he's got pictures of little kids, he'd be on, well, maybe not Q, but anybody else would have a Kickstarter. They'd be crying about it in the media. It'd be a big fucking deal. With the shoes on the other foot, nobody wants to be blamed for it, but when it's a celebrity, they're immediately guilty. Every fucking time. That's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Now look, if they find out he's involved, I'll be on the fuck Jared train. Like, Kody, you have a son. I can't even imagine how angry you are just at the idea that anyone would do that to a child. I'm sure you don't even want to get into it. But
so actually, this is something I kind of wanted to like. I think I was thinking about talking about it with the gay marriage thing. A lot of conservatives are saying that it's a slippery slope where other minorities are going to start parading for their equal rights, which you have to be human first to be a minority. And a pedophile, number one, openly parading for their rights is going to put a really, really big target on your forehead.
Yeah.
And the whole, it honestly kind of excites me. Like, my dick kind of gets hard, like, knowing that these people that, like, I hate and don't care about, like, they could have families or children and stuff like that. I'd be doing them a favor.
Calling them people is really giving them some leeway.
Yeah, it really is. Like, there was an article that went viral. I don't really know how credible it is, but it was talking about, the deep web. And, this shit does exist. Like, these child pornographers have these rings. They operate like drug cartels. They have cover businesses. They have distributors. They have, the gigantic industries that are hidden underneath our noses. And if any of those people decided they wanted to come out in the open and get equal rights. I'm pretty sure I'm probably not the only father out there that feels this way. And honestly, I'm probably not the only parent. There's probably mothers that feel just as violently as I do.
You're not the only just person in general.
Yeah.
Like, your rights end when they infringe on someone else's. Like, that's how the fucking Constitution's written. Like,
yeah, if someone cannot give consent, therefore your rights are not over them unless you are legally responsible for them.
Which, in that case, that's
even more fucked up. And I wish that someone would castrate you, but that's probably that's due process. Let's take it to court first, then we'll cut your dick off.
Yeah. But here, Jared Vogel now,
Mm-hmm.
the happy-go-lucky subway guy, is guilty or not going to be dealing with this the rest of his life.
I mean, there's another thing that probably could be coming up. I mean, in order to sue somebody, you have to have damages. And if this ruins his life and his career because they released a statement about something of him just simply being investigated and it legitimately like damages his numbers, like he could probably seek reparations for that.
From every news source in the world?
It wouldn't be from every news source. It'd be from whoever technically leaked the original.
I think it was probably Fox News.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was Fox News, the first one that I saw. I actually follow a lot of news sources online.
You can also, no matter what, if they find nothing. Well, no, I don't know.
If there's legitimate damages to your career or your life, you can seek reparations. So, I mean, if he ends up suing somebody, I mean, good for him. He will only need to work at that point.
Look, here's
It's
the
not like
thing.
he really works at this point.
Yeah.
No.
But I, like most people, just for the sake of there being one less potential pedophile in the world, hope that he's innocent. I have no stock in Jared. I don't care about Jared Fogle. But just for the sake of there being, one less pervert in the world, I hope that none of this is true.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not necessarily that he could be a pervert. Like, not all drug dealers do coke, but they can sell coke.
Yeah.
And that could be where this is heading. If that's how they're kind of tracing all this, and FBI is going with that, this could be really, really, really fucking big.
I hadn't considered that angle actually.
Yeah, I mean, like this could be like this could be them penetrating like an entire ring of distribution, which that's huge. They have never done anything like that with a drug cartel. They've never done anything like that with child pornography. This would be like if they got someone inside and busted this thing wide open. Like, there's not necessarily every single one of them pedophile. They could just be dudes that want money.
Yeah.
And they've got the connections where they can do it.
Was there another social issue?
No, mostly just that Duck Dynasty idiot, and obviously the most pertinent news story in the world right now. Anything else anybody has on their mind? I know Cody's over here falling asleep. I actually gotta get to bed relatively soon.
I got an hour drive. I gotta get up at 7.
Fuck that.
I got a 10-minute drive.
Fuck you, Q.
I've got to upload this to YouTube, and that might honestly wait until tomorrow.
If Reading schools didn't suck dick, I think I would have thought about moving down here.
Like,
So
I'm
my
a
job is
product
like 10 minutes around here.
of Reading schools.
You're not too bad, but I'm pretty sure that there's probably at least maybe 20% of your graduating class probably has at least tried meth.
Yeah, but 20% of his graduating class is like 6 people.
That's still 20%, man. They did meth.
Like, Reading schools is one of those places that you get in, or you get out of it what you put into it. Like,
I'm in the second best school district in Dayton, so I'm as happy as
where
I
you
can
at
be for
right
my
now?
son. I'm in Bellbrook.
That's the second best.
Yep, Bellbrook. It's Bellbrook and Springboro kind of like interchange second best, but then you got Oakwood, which is consistently number 1, and I can't afford
I would
Oakwood.
think Centerville would be.
Centerville ranks below Springboro as well as Bellbrook. Bellbrook's got a lot of money, and Springboro's got high city tax. And Bellbrook's got a lot of they've got a lot of pride, so they don't say no very often to their school levies. Springboro does.
well, I will say that the second in my graduating class is working for NASA. I'm pretty sure he's working for NASA right now. So, it can happen. And I'd like to think I'm a fairly well-educated person, but I think it's because I come from relatively good stock.
Mhm.
But you want the best opportunities, so
Absolutely.
Reading's kind of a boring shithole, and you got to worry about ruffians like me and Q running around.
So I guess we're going to wrap up now with our bulletin board redo. And within the upcoming week, we have July 10th, Puddle of Mud. July 11th, I Prevail and Danger Kids. July 13th, Ringworm, Suicide Pact, Bolt Cutter, and Abraxas.
Man. Woo! Just
July 17th is the free show in Trenton and also home record Ghost Psalm and Bonehead. July 19th is both Old Wounds and Until We Are Ghosts at two separate venues, the Side Central and Techocracy. And that would be the week.
Yeah. So,
And next week, definitely tune in because I'm pretty sure me and Brandon are going to argue every time I die.
oh, really? We are?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's going to be great.
And
Because
Kody, of course, you're welcome to come back anytime that you get off work at 10 o'clock. Are you fake farting and real farting at the same time?
Actually, I was doing the technique where you put both of your hands on your face, and the angle that I was holding my face, I was able to produce two tones at the same time. And
what are you, a
that's what I was
fucking
doing.
monk? Through proper meditation and years of practicing silence, abstinence, and a completely vegan diet, I only consumed air, water, and celery. I learned to make hand farts at two tones at the same time. Only 1,000 people on the earth have ever done this.
Actually, when I went, was it 67 days without masturbating? I think that's when I learned how to do it. The whole reason I did that, like, I gave all these people like bullshit reasons why I did it. The reason was I started playing Dark Souls, and I said to myself, I'm not gonna beat my dick until I beat this game. And
Whatever,
it
I
was
was
the
about
worst
to
thing.
beat your face while you were doing that shit.
Why?
Because you were fucking nuttier than normal.
Okay, I read a really...
That's so funny. Way to go, Q. You made an actual joke. You were nuttier than normal. You know,
Your laugh is so sarcastic.
they say, yeah.
Actually,
Nirvana wrote a song about it. You know, come as you are, and I did.
Let's all go be angry old dudes and go to bed.
Good night.
all right, see ya.
Night.